What do you say to Santa's dwarves? You say thank you for Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today we're going back to the year 2000. It's Christmas time, but we're not playing reindeer games. Let's go. 24 years old. Almost 23. I know what year it is.
And it looks good.
Reindeer Games 2000. Bro, I remember seeing this movie in the theaters. Were you with me? You might have been.
No, I wasn't. I was with Dad, and for some reason, Aunt Sue came along.
You saw this with your Aunt Sue.
Yes.
I love that. Well, stay tuned. We're going to get Aunt Sue's review later on.
Oh, God.
If you can remember 23 years ago. We also got the coat, the coat. I'm going to say that again. We also have the coach, Pat Riley, in the house with us. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm fantastic. He's covered in drywall dust today. He's redoing bathrooms and garages and all kinds of things at the house.
Yep.
Going good?
It's going. I mean,
It's because all that help you got, right?
it's good enough. It's just me.
Yeah. Well, that's
My moment of zen.
the reason my attic took 4 years.
Yeah, interrupted by lots of swear words and thrown hammers, and I'm done with this room and closing the door.
Perfect.
Let me guess, your wife told you to do it.
No.
Something you wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll respect that.
Respect.
Yeah.
The Manimal Bob Hauser in here with us, as you've already heard. And today we have the doctor, Ryan Madela, in the house. The doc is in. What's up, man?
Not much. Just recovering from a completely busted toe.
Oh, I forgot. You busted it on the headboard.
Yeah.
Please, that's it. We don't need to
It's
hear
out in the
anymore.
garage. No, it was not an in-use headboard.
It's a non-currently functional headboard.
Yes.
Okay. Fair
Now my
enough.
foot is non-currently functional.
Is it why you moved it to the garage because it wasn't functional because you destroyed it?
You break it in the
No.
bedroom and then move it to the
was
garage.
sitting in my basement for about 5 years, and I finally went downstairs and I was like, there's about 87 things down here that we haven't used in 5 years, so it's all going out to the curb. And
I'm
it
gonna
made
break
it to
my
the
toe.
garage.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll leave that here so I can smack my toe into it as hard as I can when I'm not paying attention.
Oh, so it was a planned injury.
Yes.
You told me last night it's purple at this
It
point.
is.
I was only a phone call away. I
Underneath
could've
the nail
helped
is
you.
black. So
Yeah.
But you do that for a living, so I was like,
We figure you move furniture all day. You don't want to come move our furniture.
hey,
I would help if you guys.
you know how you just did move a bunch of furniture for your job? Why don't you come move a bunch of furniture for free?
I would help you.
He would. He is
would.
that guy. He is that guy.
No, I know.
And in the year 2000, I'm assuming you're not going to the movie theaters to go see Reindeer Games, considering you were 2 years old.
The only time I would have seen it around that time would have been if it was in my grandmother's house, because we watched all sorts of things we shouldn't have watched there. She
Got
would
it.
put on like My Cousin Vinny for us.
Oh,
I love your grandmother.
yeah,
grandma's
she's
awesome.
a pretty cool lady.
Grandma's
Nice.
great.
Well, thank you for everybody that's joined the show and you're listening or you're watching at home. We appreciate you guys. If this is your first time listening to Bad Movies Rule, strap in. We're going to go through the vitals of the movie, who directed it, wrote it, the scores, how it qualifies for our show. And then we do a scene by scene breakdown / roast of the movies that we talk about. At the end, we give it some awards. Who was the best? Who was the worst actor? The trash can full of dirt like Steven Seagal. And whether or not we think it's actually maybe a good movie. No, it's a bad movie, or it's a bad movie that rules. We appreciate you guys being along for us. The vitals. Let's dive in. Let's give them everything they got to know about this movie. Here we go. Directed by, again, this is Reindeer Games 2000, Hollywood legend John Frankenheimer, known for The Birdman of Alcatraz,
French Connection.
French
too.
Connection 2, The Manchurian Candidate, and so much so,
Ronan.
Ronan right before this.
Yeah.
And this was his final film. He did a couple of like short films and a TV movie, I think, after this, but this was his last major Hollywood release after directing in Hollywood forever.
Not a bad way to go out.
No, written by Aaron, I think it's how you say his name. Aaron, maybe it's Aaron. It's EHREN.
Aaron
that's
Kruger. Aaron Kruger.
Aaron.
Yep. Garrett.
Aaron Kruger. This guy has a laundry list of great scripts he's written.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with his work?
Yeah, he did. He wrote Scream 3. He wrote a lot. Some of the
Transformers movies. The Ring. The Ring movies.
Yeah.
And Top Gun Maverick. was written by this guy. So he has had a long career screenwriting in Hollywood, a pedigree between Frankenheimer and Kruger that we don't generally have on this show.
No.
The movie stars Ben Affleck, not just Ben Affleck, but late 90s, early 2000s Ben Affleck. And Charlize Theron, Gary Sinise, along with a slew of others that we'll get through as we talk through this movie. Here's partially why. Well, it qualifies actually in every single box that we check. It cost $42 million to make.
What?
Yeah, $42 million.
I didn't look it up, but as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, man, the shoestring budget for this thing. But apparently, I mean, how many scenes are just in like
The back of a trailer?
Yeah. And I was like, that means, yeah, you don't have to spend any money for that. Just
You would think.
buy an old,
A crummy hotel,
yeah,
a semi-trailer,
yeah,
a casino.
yep, kind of.
Maybe they shot this in Florida and they had to spray it down with snow.
Fake snow
Every
over the whole
shot. That
country.
costs a lot of money.
No, I think it was British Columbia, where snow is just part of the deal.
Literally. That's snow.
Dennis Farna's expensive.
He is. That snow looked like it's been there for 12 years.
It
Like it's
probably
never
has been,
melted. It's never melted, ever. The box office off of a $42 million budget was only $32 million. So it didn't even come close after you take out what the theater gets out of that chunk to making its money back. Big time financial disaster. It currently is a 5.8 on IMDb. It's right at that Air America line of demarcation of just being on the borderline there. But here's where I'm really surprised. Rotten Tomatoes, right? Here's what the critics think. Here's what the audience thinks. And they are in lockstep. Critics gave it a 25%, okay? Meaning only a quarter of critics gave it a good rating, okay? And an audience score of 27%, which is almost identical. So audiences and critics have both looked at Reindeer Games and went, no, thank you very much. We don't want it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why it's on our show. Everyone across the board pretty much has declared this is a bad movie. And so we're going to see what we think here at the end. That's the beauty of this show, is you never really know how things are going to come down. But we're going to dive into it. And just want to let you guys know before we dive into the plot that there's all kinds of ways that you can get in touch with the show. If you want to reach out, we have multiple ways to do it. You can sign up for our email list where we send out a newsletter every month. It's got advanced warning on what the poll's going to be, some of the Patreon picks. You get a copy of our bad movie list that we do the random polls from for our episodes. You can see all of that stuff. You can also get updated news, new merch, all that stuff. We just did a whole new merch revamp, lots of great new items and shirts and stuff out there for you to have as well. So sign up. It's badmoviesrule.com. You go down to the bottom. You can sign up for the newsletter, the email list there. Otherwise, you can email the show directly and we can have it read on our mailbag episodes. It's thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. Again, thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. And lastly, as you're in your car or kitchen or work or cubicle or garage or wherever it is you're listening to us right now, and you're screaming into your phone or into whatever because of, what Bob thinks about Reindeer Games or what Patrick thinks about Reindeer Games, just call our number. You can now, instead of just screaming into the void, you can scream into your phone and we'll play that voicemail and want to hear your thoughts. 262-757-8567. That number is down in the show notes. You can save it there. Save us as a contact, BMR, and call us and scream at us. Hang up. We'd love to play your voicemails on our show as well. So, you guys ready to dive in?
I'm sorry. Did you say $42 million?
Yes.
How the hell?
Brian's finally caught up to
No, I've
We
been
had this
processing
conversation already,
entire
didn't we?
time trying to figure out where the money went, though.
Ben Affleck, because he's awesome.
Charlize Theron.
In
Charlize
2000,
Theron.
2000, though?
Neither
Yeah,
of them.
Ben,
Oh, yeah.
Ben Affleck at 2000.
Well, Ben maybe, but not Charlize. I don't think.
Probably Gary Sinise and Ben Affleck and Dennis Farna.
Maybe Gary Sinise.
And probably The Casino.
The casino was not built for the movie, so you assume they're clearing out a casino.
Right.
Maybe that. I mean, I don't know what that cost.
Danny Trejo's a pretty penny.
Danny Trejo probably cost $20 million just himself.
Clarence Williams III is awesome, so he probably costs a pretty penny too.
coming
There was no
off
toe
coming
sucking
off
in
of
this,
Half
though.
Baked not that long before this.
Exactly.
Samson.
What'd you
I
say?
just said there was no toe sucking in this, though, so I got to imagine that's less.
You got a
Desert
foot
Heat?
thing, man?
Oh,
Is that
Desert
how-
Heat.
my
Oh,
God.
Is that what
Danny
happened?
Trejo.
Yeah, remember?
Last time we had Danny Trejo on the show, he was massaging Jean-Claude Van Damme's feet.
I haven't heard this
Oh,
much foot
yes.
talk since Rex Ryan.
Well, we did just do a Quentin Tarantino movie on Good Movies Rule, so there's
Ear fetishes on that movie.
and we almost got through the whole. I don't think we talked about feet once.
No, we didn't.
You're right.
We didn't talk about feet. We didn't even mention ear fetishes. We didn't do anything.
That might have been the first feetless Tarantino movie of all time. I don't know.
Wait till we get Death Proof on here.
Oh gosh, no. All right, let's dive in here. The movie opens and there's a bit of a prologue of just a bunch of murdered Santa corpses just strewn around somewhere. You're not really even sure where this is, what's happening, but you get a little voiceover from Ben Affleck, basically, bet you're wondering how I got here, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I do. I want to know why there's a Santa Claus melted into a 1990s coupe. I want to know if that's a ballsy move to start your movie by going, hey, guess what?
Right.
Dead Santa Clauses. I mean, that's like one of those things that universally people tend to love.
Interest peaked, right?
A little bit, yeah, but you better come. You better bring it afterwards.
Okay, Reindeer Games, you have my attention here.
Yeah.
We get him talking about how he's in Iron Mountain. He's doing a stretch of 5 years for Grand Theft Auto. And so we rewind. It shows the dead Santas, and then it goes 6 days earlier, and now he's in prison. So this whole movie only covers 6 days. It's a pretty short timeline. And the short introduction is he's in there. He's going to be out in 3 days' time. He's got 3 days left on his sentence. His cellmate, Nick Cassidy, is there, and he's also getting out on the exact same day. That's fortunate.
Played by James Fran. Awesome,
And
dude.
so it's Rudy Duncan is Ben Affleck's character, and then Nick is his cellmate. And the two of them have become best friends in jail, and they only have a couple of days left to go. I should say, the other guy was in jail for manslaughter. Somebody was messing with his girlfriend, Millie Bobek, and he, kind of like Nick Cage in Con Air, killed this guy, and that's why he's doing 2 years on a manslaughter charge. Okay? That's just setting up who these guys are.
And Affleck's doing 5
Yeah.
on Grand Theft Auto. And he mentions that about the number of people. And it's like, yeah, you know what? That does seem to happen quite a bit. If you mess with somebody's money, you'll
Right.
do more time.
Right? Because I think he mentions later in the movie his last job was at a Jiffy Lube or something like that, right? So he's working on cars and he's stealing cars, and that's all we really know about his.
Gone in 60
So you
seconds.
rip off Google, you do life. You
That's right.
punch someone in the face into a microwave. 5 days.
5 days. 2 years. So they're hanging around the yard, and this whole scene is just to get to know the characters, right? And so it's like, your typical, what are you going to do when you get out,
I
right?
go sniff paint.
Yeah, I'm going to get high AF. No, he goes, I want some hot chocolate and some pecan pie,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
That's it. And Nick is
Pecan pie. I believe.
pecan pie.
Yeah.
Sorry. Is it pecan or pecan? Because people say it both
They
ways.
say it both ways, but I think he says the pecan.
He says pecan. He's from Boston. Is that a Bostonian way to say
I
it?
think it's more of a southern thing to say it that
Really?
way.
Okay. Interesting. I've never had pecan. Now I'm going to be second guessing myself the whole time. Pecan pie.
Just say pecan.
Just say however.
It looks disgusting.
It's my favorite.
Is it your favorite?
I love
You
it.
ever had pecan
Warm
pie?
it up a little bit.
You like
just,
sludge?
Just put a bunch of whipped cream on top of it too,
Dude,
and just
it's better
maybe a
than
little
put-
vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, it's better than pie.
It is not. It is. First of all,
Flavor wise, maybe.
it looks disgusting. Every time I've ever seen somebody go, "Wants a pecan pie?" I'm like, no, I'd rather you punch me in the nuts. I don't. I don't want anything to do with that. And this is what the first thing this guy's going to do when he gets out of prison.
Get punched in the nuts or pecan pie?
Pecan pie.
Oh, pecan pie.
Actually, well,
Oh.
we find out later what's going to happen. But his friend Nick is like, are you kidding me, man? I got Ashley. And this is where we set up the Ashley character. Apparently, there's this woman who has been writing Nick because there's some magazine where you can become a pen pal with a convict. Okay. And there are women that fall in love with people in prisons, all serial killers even. It's like this weird thing that happens out there.
Seek help.
I'm still trying to figure out how there's hot women in trailer parks.
Well, okay.
There are.
I know.
There are. It's
But
not,
they usually have a little more years worn on their face than what she had.
right.
I mean, she should have probably been like 18.
Methyl age.
Looking at it. Yes.
20 years,
Meth.
right.
All of it,
I've seen those before and after pictures, right? And it's like, okay, this person's 24 years old. They look like they're 48 years old. Mm-hmm. Right. But they've fallen in love. Nick's been getting these letters, and he's got pictures, and he's showing them. And here's like Charlize Theron in a bikini, and he's like hanging. They got a whole like bulletin board in the cell of all this contraband of all these pictures of her, and it's a lot.
It's a spank bank that's been printed out and posted on the wall.
Yes. And he's like, oh, Nick, I just can't. And he's really landed on thick. Ashley's going to be there waiting for you. I mean, me. Outside. He's just, we know later on why, but he's laying it on super thick. Like, she's going to be there. It's going to be so hot. We're going to do all the sex. We're going to,
all of it.
enjoy your hot chocolate and your pecan pie. Right. And this is all, setting up what's going to happen down the road.
Well, and then Ben Affleck's like, maybe I'm going to have to take her out for a spin.
Right. Make sure. Usually people, these girls sending pictures of their prettier cousin or whatever,
So, like, he's just like, I'm a trash bag.
But this was the era of when like people first started doing like online dating and all that kind of stuff, and there was always like, yeah, all right, man, you're probably just talking to some like 400-pound dude in his basement, So it's kind of, it makes sense. That was what was going on.
No, if I was his summit, I'd be like, you sure about that?
The first picture I got, and it looked like her, I'd say, this bullshit. She is not that woman. There's no way she's writing to me.
way.
Sight unseen.
Now, did you notice the San Francisco 49er that was in this movie?
Dana Stubblefield.
Dana Stubblefield.
It's interesting because he's in prison now.
Right.
Is this the gentleman that had the shiv?
Yeah.
Yes.
The scar on his face. Okay.
There's a guy that, we get a little throwaway line of Ben's like, oh, this guy thought that I ratted him out. That's why he's in the hole. And so I only got 3 days left, but he's going to shiv me or whatever. So they set this tension between him and Dana Stubblefield, who, when he's on the football field, looks pretty normal. When he's standing next to regular humans, looks like a monster.
Yes. Wasn't the joke about him when he played that he had a double helmet too? Because like concussions and all that? Like, he had this huge helmet on
Massive
too.
helmet. You imagine the size of this guy's head at that point. He's in the cafeteria. They're sitting there. He tries to talk him out of it, but he doesn't say a word because they probably were like, Dana, you're just not going to have any lines. And this just looked big and mean and angry.
He looked really intimidating.
He did. No, there was good casting. They're sitting in the cafeteria of the prison, and Chef from South Park starts to freak out.
Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes.
Christmas Jello.
Who apparently auditioned for the part that Clarence Williams got, and he gave a really good audition, but they ended up going with the other guy, but they put him in this part as like a secondary prize or whatever. But he starts freaking out about monsters in the Jello because they got this green Jello, and there's cockroaches in the Jello. Not just everybody's like it was an ingredient in the recipe. You know what I mean?
It's something you would have noticed as soon as they ladled it onto your plate.
Right.
It's not when you're sitting down and like you've eaten your, Christmas surprise dinner and now you're just digging into the Jello and now you see this 4-inch cockroach.
Right.
No.
And they're cutting all these tables and they're all pulling it out of their Jello. It starts like a prison riot in the kitchen.
I mean, yeah, I would be pissed.
Right. Well, no, of course, right? Yeah. They all
And
start
some
ducking
protein.
under their tables. And this is the opportunity now where Dana Stubblefield is going to come over and shiv Ben Affleck. Except Nick pushes Ben out of the way and takes the shiv for him. What a guy.
Yeah,
what an amazing friend.
All
right, Pete.
Hell of an honorable American.
Rest in peace.
Pour one out.
Nick, we're going to pour one out for his definitely dead, not still alive friend.
God.
So why did the football player end up in jail? Quick side note.
Why he's in
real
jail?
life?
Sexual assault.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He
can stay there.
Yeah.
Him and Ron Jeremy, who also was one of the prisoners.
Ron Jeremy was in this movie?
Briefly, I guess. I didn't see him, but I saw it in there, and I was
He's
like,
in jail for the same thing.
except I think he's so cognitively declined that they actually said, no, you can go home, and like he's just being taken care of 24/7 at home.
He's on his way out.
Yeah.
He's got one foot out the door there already.
Really? Wow, I didn't know they sent him home.
Yeah, because he was found incompetent to stand trial.
So because Nick took the shiv for Rudy has survived, and it's now release day, and sadly he finds out that his friend has died and took that shiv for him. And so he's getting released. And as he goes outside, there's the bus to pick everybody up, and there's people out there waiting with signs or whatever. And there is Charlize Theron, looking adorable. She is real. It is the girl from the pictures. Okay. He initially walks past her, gets on the bus.
What a true friend.
Okay.
Dude.
He doesn't go up to her and be like, he's not coming.
You know what?
He's like, I'm going to not say anything, and you can stand in the cold and freeze to death.
All he had to do
What a guy.
was stay on the bus.
Yeah.
And his life would have been fine.
He almost passed her up, but it's Charlize Theron.
That's the problem. He was booty blinded.
This might be the worst case of booty blindness in the history of cinema.
Yeah. How do you see her face with the snow of Michigan is pelting you in the face? just doing this.
right.
It's like John Cena.
It's like
Can't see
through a
this.
grated window, through a fogged up grated window.
Yeah.
She's getting pelted. She's out there now by herself because everyone's on the bus, and she's looking around like, oh no, where's Nick?
Yeah.
And he sees this other couple making out next to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, that just seals it right there.
Yeah.
And gets-
That's the
Where is
last
this
straw.
couple going? I don't understand. Like, I have not been in prison, so I don't understand exactly what it's like to get out. But first of all, I'm curious as to whether or not it's just mass releases. It seems like that would be a problem potentially.
Right.
And then where's that bus taking them to? Is there a visitor center somewhere else where they're going to go? Are they going to
Probably
the
the
conjugal
nearest town.
visit trailer?
I don't know. I mean, she had her own car, so he drove away with
Yeah.
her. Because he does get off the bus and go, hey, I'm Nick. And he's now going to do the D-bag move and take his friend's place
What a D-bag.
just to score.
What an Affleck thing to do.
Just, hey.
But the friend is dead.
Affleck might not have been great, okay, in this movie,
Oh, he was fine. I'm just saying.
Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms.
okay?
All right,
Just don't
you're
ever
right.
forget.
Yes, he
Okay.
was the bomb in fandom.
All right.
I'll
All
never
right.
forget that.
So, they go to the diner. Okay, this is where they're sitting there having a very awkward breakfast, something. I don't know what.
About
They're just
the
sitting there
weather.
staring at each other. And this is the scene where Charlize Theron says she thought that she was too ugly for Nick and that she thought he might have just left her there because of how ugly she was. And I couldn't stop laughing. She's so serious. I thought you looked at my face and you were just like, nope.
Woman, I couldn't see your face. There was a blizzard outside.
It's like, in what world would this happen?
No world. None.
I thought
I
you
can't believe they got her to be able to say that line. Like, she wasn't just like, guys, come on.
with a straight face.
Yeah, even when she was playing Eileen Wuornos in Monster, there was still part of me that was like, hey, she's still pretty good looking,
You know.
despite looking terrible.
Just saying.
Oh gosh, Monster! What a movie that was.
Yeah.
That was 2 years later. It's like
that was not
2003.
that long after. Actually,
I never saw that one.
It's good, but you
Scary.
need like several showers and
Yeah.
a couple shots of tequila afterwards.
That's true. Nick covers why he got on the bus by saying, I thought you wouldn't like me, which is reasonable, right?
Yeah.
And she says, well, I thought you wouldn't like me, which is ridiculous. But they ultimately are able to make up. And then they go back and destroy a motel room at the El Rancho Motel.
Has anyone ever destroyed a room having sex before in this room?
No, maybe I'm getting old. There ain't no reason for all that.
No, but you know, here's the thing. The thing that I did like about it, though,
I fell
was
off the
that
bed one time. I'll say that much.
I broke a bed
I ran
once.
my head into a wall on accident. So the headboard wasn't there.
But it was nice. It was kind of nice to see, like, okay, this is a little bit more realistic because it wasn't
Yes.
the way that it normally is, where it's like nobody's body moves like that or anything. You know,
where
like,
the
they just
music picks
fall.
up and the wind sweeps the curtains
Yes.
in,
Yeah.
and everything's perfect and choreographed.
Right.
Right. So somewhere between that and this, the reality is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, although I heard that they didn't have it scripted, the director was just like follow them wherever they go, and they just were told to just go at it.
And I don't know how much I want to talk about this, but I'll talk about it a little bit because Affleck talked about this in an interview. He had everything in a coin purse. So the way they had to do this, the modesty stuff in these scenes, because they're both fully nude, where it's literally like for Charlize, she gets a patch basically,
Jeez.
and for him, it all gets wrapped up in a little jingle bag. Do you know what I mean? He's like, it's the most embarrassing.
It's some proper reindeer games.
Non-hot thing, like, and then you have to like do this scene looking, ridiculous.
Keep underwear on.
Yeah.
Right, or whatever,
Have a sheet on.
something.
What? A patch?
But that's
She gets a
ridiculous.
patch.
Yes,
It's a Band-Aid.
a Band-Aid. We'll call it whatever you want to call it. I don't want to dwell on this. I'm just saying,
Hairless Merkin.
It's
To
ridiculous.
answer your question, though, Bob, the most intimate I've been has been my toe getting entered by a bed this weekend, where now my toe is gonna fall
Perfect.
off.
Your toe's not going to fall off.
We do see so many little character points here that I think say something about these characters. You get Rudy Dungan with the barbed wire tattoo.
Isn't that his though? Didn't he?
No, did he? I don't think he did.
Those are his tattoos.
He's got barbed wire.
Yeah.
Oh, I take it all back.
He's got a big
Ben.
one on his back now.
Ben. No.
No, go in and get that covered up. Get rid of the barbed wire.
There's only one guy that pulled off the barbed wire. That was Goldberg.
And then
Bicep.
I love that George Carlin bit where he talks about if you really want to be tough, let's get some real barbed wire on there and tightening it down on you.
tighten it down. Oh my god! And I'm watching this with Dana, and the other character point about Charlize's character is she goes, She had thigh highs on under her jeans.
Oh, Laura mentioned that
She was-
immediately.
I had that thought when I was like,
Right.
man, she was ready.
Yeah. So that may be a little bit of a clue into what Ashley's really coming
Some girls
from.
are just ready to go, man.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but they're usually not wearing anything underneath that.
After their destruction of the motel room, they have some pillow talk where they're getting some few character moments here where basically they're talking about the letters and all that, and he tries a couple times in the movie, he tries to, in a roundabout way, talk about Rudy. He's now masquerading
It's
as
so
Nick.
pathetic.
Right?
He's like, yeah, you'd really like Rudy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, some of the things that I wrote, he helped me with what to say, and she's like, well, he should have
He's a
signed.
great guy. You should sleep with him.
Well, she does say he should have signed his name, and then he'd be here, right?
The first
Right.
thing he said off the bus, Nick got stabbed, but I'm Rudy. What's up?
What's
Right out of the gate. Should have been the first
Should have been.
2 words out of your mouth.
Think about it. You're the shoulder to cry on. You're still gonna.
Yeah,
they're
you're
still
still
gonna
get
find
it.
a way to make this movie work that way.
right?
Because-
Potentially.
Yeah, because
Just
she's going to
be
be like, okay.
But be honest. But instead, again, because it's the worst case of booty blindness ever, the man flushes his driver's license down the toilet.
Hey, Kurt, would this really happen? I don't think it would
I don't
because
know
it
if it
floats.
works. It does float, but I don't know how toilets work. I just think everything gets sucked down into the magical
Well, you can't-
land of poop or whatever. I mean, it just
You can't
know,
put Q-tips down there.
You don't put
yeah.
Q-tips.
No, don't do
But
that.
Michigan's driver's licenses, no problem whatsoever. Bro just flushed his identity down the toilet for a girl he met outside of a prison. Okay.
There were other cards in that wallet, though.
Yeah, that would have saved.
They would have had his
Rudy
name,
Duncan.
like Rudy Duncan library card. You
Right.
know, he seems like a reader.
hide it in your shoe or something. He seems like a
Rage War and Peace.
yeah. They go shopping for a transformer tree. And I say that because they buy this gigantic green tree, which transforms into a little tiny silver one when she brings it into the. Do you notice that? I got the tree when she comes in later, and it's freaking 3 feet. Anyway, that kind of little stuff is hilarious. Back at the motel after shopping, she literally goes, I'm going to go in here and do something else. You better get in there. We're going to have all the sex in the world. You better be naked when I get back in there.
Only wearing a candy cane.
Candy cane.
And a
that's what
coin
she
purse.
says. That's in the coin purse.
Where's that candy cane?
Yeah.
Is it being hung or inserted? Is my question.
I don't know.
I'm going to go with hung.
Okay.
The problem is none of that gets to happen because as soon as he walks into the motel room, the ding dong squad is there. The ding and it's just like this idiot truckers. Are they're truckers that are some of the dumbest pieces of brick that have,
Mascara wearing Gary Sinise with the perfectly
like they've been
parted
hauling
hair.
loads of condensed air across the country or something like for the last 10, 15 years. And they're just beating the crap out of him with a baseball bat. He gets a couple of shots in, but then, Ashley comes in the room. They grab her. They're pinning her up against the wall. They're beating up on Rudy.
Seems a bit unbelievable because he just got out of prison.
Yeah.
And I feel he would have been working his tail off in prison to make sure he could take himself, to actually
imagine.
fight. Because it's
Well, he
or
does
just not shower.
So he takes the initial shot in the ribs with a baseball bat.
Yeah,
which should
that's
be
fair.
all she wrote, for your breath and everything at that point. But he does then block the next shot, get that guy out, and it's not until the second guy comes in that he's overwhelmed. I thought Rudy generally handles himself pretty well.
No, he did.
For the most part.
I mean, yeah, if you're getting
Right.
hit in the head, back in the head with a baseball bat, it's kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we get
Tune in
Gary
for the
Sinise.
Patreon. We'll do that with Bob later.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do this as a bonus thing.
All right, cool. Yeah, sounds
Full
good.
on
Sign me
shot
up.
in the ribs.
Yeah, absolutely.
With a baseball bat. We get Gary Sinise here, and Gary Sinise they call him Monster. His name is Gabriel. I will never say a bad word about Gary Sinise. One, I've never seen a bad performance from Gary Sinise. Two, this is one of just the best humans ever. All the stuff this guy does for veterans and his foundation and all that stuff. I love Gary Sinise. So anytime he shows up in a movie, even here he's playing a total D-bag, I'm just like, yep, I'm here for it. Beat him up, Gary.
Get it, Gary.
Get it, man. He is the leader of this ragtag bunch of ding-dong truckers, and they're basically there to use Nick for his knowledge of a casino. Okay. So we find out he presents himself. He's like, I'm Ashley's brother. I've read your letters that you wrote him in prison. And so now we're going to need you to help us. We don't know exactly how or why yet, but immediately, without wasting any time, Rudy's like, yeah, I'm not Nick. Like, not for 1 second does he try to pretend. He's like, yeah, I'm not him. I took his place so that I could get with her.
You just give up your client? It's like the nice guys.
The nice guys, like, immediately. And he goes, so you lied about who you are so that you could get with my sister, get down her chimney, and you think telling me this is going to help your cause?
That was a pretty good line.
Right.
Still trying to figure out which orifice is chimney. Because he says, get down the chimney.
Get down the chimney. And I think Ben Affleck has a moment of realization there, like, oh yeah, that probably wasn't a great thing to say.
Yep.
But this is the first of many times he tries to say, I'm not Nick. And he looks at his sister and he goes, is this the guy, or is this the guy you've been writing in prison or not? And she, even though he admitted in front of everybody, she's like, no, it is. And so he busts him in the face again. And he leans over and he says, I read your letters, convict. Don't play no reindeer games with me.
You did the thing.
He said the thing. I love it when they say the name of the movie. Don't play. This hardened trucker, this gun-running trucker is going to say to another guy, don't play no reindeer games.
It felt like a
me.
line that would be in like Die Hard.
Right.
It doesn't.
This movie would have been 10 times better with Bruce Willis.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, but Bruce would have had to
Willis in
fall
what
through the
part?
ceiling.
Bruce Willis in what part? Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
As Rudy Duncan?
No. Maybe like a sheriff, but there was no cops in this movie. Maybe like a sheriff or...
Maybe it's Dennis Farina's character?
I know, but I love Dennis Farina's character. I don't know.
All right. They stuff him in the back of the truck trailer.
That's Charlize Theron.
Yes, there it is.
Bruce in the same white tank top from Die Hard. So now it's in the back. I should tell you who's all in the gang of ding dongs. It's Clarence Williams, who plays Merlin. Then we get Danny Trejo, who I love, is one of the other guys. Can't remember, what's his name? Is it Jumpy?
Donald Log?
No. I'm talking about Danny Trejo's character's name.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember
it was
either.
like Pug or
Pug was Donald Logue.
Pug was
Donald
Donald.
Logue is the other guy who I also love and shows up in all kinds of little bit parts.
I think I told you this earlier. It was supposed to be Vin Diesel.
Yeah. Vin Diesel. I'm so glad it wasn't, because I love Donald. I thought he did a great job.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Patrick.
No. But the thing that I found that they did wrong here was they didn't rewrite that character, and it was still written as if, I think it felt like it was written for Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Donald Logue is great in so many things, but trying to be a Vin Diesel is not probably his.
No,
I can't see Vin Diesel playing that character, though. You imagine Vin Diesel saying, like, what if he's not the guy? I tried to picture it the whole time. I'm like, no.
No, I think this was a good recast. I do.
No, the recast
Yeah,
was
I think
fine.
this was good. This was good. He at this point he's back in the back of the trailer, and it's just him and Ashley. And Ashley's like apologizing profusely. Sorry about my brother. And the only person back in the trailer with him is Donald Logue, his Pug, right? And he's now telling Ashley, this is the second time, I'm not the guy. All right, I'm sorry. She's like, no, stop saying that you're not him. But he's trying to tell Ashley, I'm not the guy.
How much money are they wasting driving around with a semi instead of a car?
Well, they're truckers.
I get that.
That's all they do.
But Smokey and the Bandit, you got to have your car too to
I think
take the heat off of you.
They established these guys aren't the brightest bulbs, though.
No, that's why I'm calling them the Ding Dong Gang. They're all idiots. All of them. And they've never done this before.
And yet they're running arms.
Right. Exactly.
To Florida.
There is a great moment.
It's America's wang.
Even though they're all kind of dumb. During this conversation, it cuts to the cab where they're all sitting, and Danny Trejo starts talking about the retail industry and how they do 50% of their business in 1 month out of the year. Leads me to believe that a smart person would have another such gift-giving holiday positioned between April or May.
Maybe Christmas too.
Christmas too.
Ever since you started going to night school, gotten really annoying.
But you know what? He's not wrong.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, we have for Memorial Day, a day that we're supposed to, honor soldiers and sailors and airmen who have died and Marines who have died.
Yeah.
Come on in and get 50% off your mattresses.
Right. The Memorial Day sale at CERTA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a part of that problem. I work for the problem.
No, but we're all part of it because we're all sitting there like, hey, you know what? I saw this ad. We all take advantage of it, whether we're the ones
we
working
do.
on
You
it.
should do it, right?
And then you work the holiday.
Yeah.
But I'm down for Christmas too. I think Christmas too, one of the best ideas I've ever heard, actually. Christmas too, and call it that.
Christmas too. Isn't it like July? So like technically Christmas too? Like you always say the term Christmas in July.
Well, just July 4th, but we could have, there's room for another holiday in July. We could do it. Start it off, Bob. We'll get the country behind you.
That sounds really stupid.
I mean, between MLK Day and Memorial Day, we really don't have like a federal holiday
Also
that we all get days off. So
Do it. Gabriel goes back. Gary Sinise goes back into the trailer and reads the casino letter to Rudy. So now we know specifically the letter that he read was about how Nick supposedly worked at this Tomahawk Casino security, and so he knows all of this stuff, and he wants Nick to help them rob this casino.
That sounds like something you'd write to the girl you're trying to, get
And
in the sack with.
No one blinks an eye.
And no guards or any people at the prison don't check the mails.
Don't they?
going
Yeah,
out.
don't they check the mail?
From what I've gathered from Farrell, who was a corrections officer, they
Yeah.
have to check everything going in and out.
Okay,
I don't know if they read it,
right.
but they have to open it up and look at it. So
Look, here's again. We're just going to keep talking about how stupid these truckers are. At this point, Nick says, "This is the third time. I'm not Nick Cassidy." Rudy says, and they keep just giving him chance after chance. And how many times does a guy have to tell you, "I'm not Nick Cassidy"? And they just go, like, "Are you sure he's not Nick Cassidy? Like, is it the guy?" The dude's told you 3 times at this point.
semen testing.
I'm not Nick Cassidy.
yeah,
Finally, because he said it now again, he goes, "Well, we don't need you to bury this guy," and they're going to go drag him off and shoot him in the woods.
No, they're not.
And while they're dragging off him to shoot him, Gary Sinise outs Ashley by saying, "You said you'd get your boyfriend to help." So now Ben Affleck knows she was part of this whole thing, right? And so he finally, as they're kneeling him down to shoot him, goes, all right, what do you want to know? And now he's back to pretending to be Nick again. And he walks back, goes, 6 months of letters. You screw me over. Thanks for the stamps, Ash, right? What do you want to know about this casino? He's like, now I'm in. Finally, he goes, right before this, she goes, "I love you, Nick. I'm so sorry." She told you she loved you, convict. Say something. What does he say?
I want some pecan pie.
I had better sex in prison.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry.
In prison.
Better sex in prison.
Cold-blooded.
Jeez.
but there's only men in prison.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
6 months in, she's gonna look like those guys are gonna look like Madonna.
Rosie O'Donnell in your case.
This is when Donald Logue comes out and he goes, "He's not the guy." Like the whole time when we were driving, he was telling her he's not the guy. Now I understand why he'd tell us he's not the guy, but why would he tell her he's not the guy? Maybe he's not the guy.
This don't make sense.
He delivered that very well. I'm
No,
not
it was
knocking.
great.
It was great because he's awesome.
He's trying to figure out the puzzle.
That's right. So he pop quizzes him on all these facts about Ashley, which he passes. He knows most of them, and one of them is that the scariest thing to her is her brother. Finally, they've been convinced for a third time. This is Nick Cassidy. He's like, all right, it's time to work. He's like, no. Nick's not doing anything till Nick gets something for Nick. I want some hot chocolate and some pecan pie. And so smash cut to the diner where he's sitting there eating his pecan pie.
The only time in my life pecan pie has looked disgusting is watching Ben Affleck. He's got a big smear of it on his face.
Oh my
He's
God.
eating it with his hands.
Yeah.
He's fingering it. It's so gross.
I
It's
did
just like,
love that he kept going,
Yeah.
stop.
That was
stop,
funny.
and like
Putting
waving
his
them
hand
off
up.
every time. It's like, I'm still freaking
also
I'm
felt
still
like-
eating.
Danny Trejo just bashes him in the face.
Yeah. There's
Not a
also,
fan.
it seemed like there was more pecan pie being added to the plate as he was eating it
Each
too.
take.
And then the smear was changing until
Yes.
the point that it wasn't there.
He was manifesting it for himself. They finally get down to business right after Danny Trejo smacks him in the chomper.
I mean, you get hit in the face by Danny Trejo. Like that's
All right, time to get down to business. And they give him this hand-drawn map of the casino that they went and did on their own. And I keep calling him Nick. It's Rudy. Rudy's ploy to get out of it is to go, this isn't the Tomahawk. They've remodeled this whole. Well, what the cage used to be over here, and what were you telling me? This is where the games are. Well, the games are in the restaurant. We're over here. I can't help you.
I think he's just trying to stall. Every time he comes up with something, it seems like he's not a chess player.
No, he's thinking one move at a time instead of 4 moves at a time.
Yeah.
Because immediately they go, well, then we don't need you, which is, of course, the logical
Time to kill you.
conclusion to that line of thinking, but he doesn't think it through. And so he only thinks at the next step. And so then he goes, well, you don't have to kill me because if you can get me inside, then I can see what the changes were, and I know the signals to the guards and how they communicate, and then I can help you. I can help you figure this out. You got to get me in there. No. They'll recognize you. He's like, I guarantee they won't. They won't recognize me
Because I'm not the guy.
because you're gonna get me a disguise, and this is how we're gonna do
At
it.
this point, I was like, would somebody just shoot Ben Affleck in the face? I am so sick of this back and forth. I'm the guy. I'm not the guy. I'm the guy. I'm not the guy. And like, I was just like, somebody just shoot him.
Yeah.
Just be done.
Well, I hear you, dude. It's a little bit annoying.
A little.
A little bit annoying.
That's very annoying.
But Ben, at this time, this era of his career was like, you love him or hate him. You know what I mean? Like, he was in some really good stuff. He was in some terrible stuff.
Forces of nature, man.
Forces of Nature, Bounce Boy. I think he gets called by David at one time. But no matter what,
I think you the bomb in Phantom, yo!
okay, never can be discredited because Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, okay?
And Dazed and Confused.
And Dazed and Confused.
What's Phantom?
Armageddon.
You never seen him in Phantoms? Bro,
But Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms.
okay?
What is Phantoms?
It's a movie. Go see it.
Okay.
It's got Ben Affleck in it, and he was the bomb
What's it
in
about?
Phantoms.
Breakdancing.
Phantoms.
Phantoms.
That's right.
Wow. That's deep. Thanks.
In the hotel that night, Rudy finds out from Ashley that they've never robbed anywhere ever. So he comes to this realization, they really do need me. They've never done anything like this before, right? They've just been gun runners.
You know what's really interesting about that?
Yeah.
Is that instead of being like, they don't know what they're doing, so I can mislead them,
No,
he's like, they don't know what they're doing, so I'm going to actually help them do it.
I got to help them rob this place.
Which is like, why wouldn't you just mess them up so that then they get
Caught. Yeah, that's a great point. Because he doesn't. He legitimately helps them pull it off. I mean, some of it he has to fake, as we'll get through it here, right? Because he doesn't have the information that he says he has. But when push comes to shove, he's helping them pull it off to a certain extent.
Correct.
Yeah,
Stealing a car is different than robbing a casino.
it is. He also has never done this.
Correct. I mean, that's what we, you know.
Yeah.
I could tell it was different when he started hot wiring the casino, and he's like, no, it's the blue wire.
He's hot wiring the slot machine, right?
That'd have been pretty cool.
Here's how we're gonna rob this place. I'm gonna pop the ignition on this slot machine, and we're gonna hot wire, and it's gonna spit out all the money. Get there with buckets, ready to catch all the coins, and then Merlin's gonna punch out all the waitresses while we run out the door.
That probably would have been a more solid plan than what they do.
You're right. It's a lot of quarters. A lot of quarters in those places. They're heavy though. You ever try to carry out a bucket of quarters or a bag of quarters? Remember
That
from
would
the
be
bank?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude.
There was that one person who used to come in with like
Yeah.
10 Home Depot buckets filled
Yes.
with change.
I know. It was nuts.
He's
the
just
customer?
Yes.
Yeah.
taking a
Go
hammer
into the change machine and get counted up.
That's right.
God bless that
Be there
guy.
for 6 hours.
Yeah, thanks for showing up at 4 o'clock. No, or whatever time it was. It was like,
10
Yes.
p.m. He's leaving.
Yeah. At this point, Rudy's his attitude changes and he starts to have more fun with what's happening because he knows that they absolutely 100% need him. And so the disguise they give him is a country western, like a cowboy getup, okay, to go into this casino and do recon. And he's like, "Well, I can't go in there with $5. At least a couple $100." And they're giving him money, and he's talking them into giving him more money. And even Ashley is smirking in the back seat about this whole thing. They get out. Oh, you know what? I forgot to say. I want to go back and say this because this is important. When he was bluffing his way through the design, saying they remodeled them, he did mention one important thing. He said, "I'll tell you what, though, you do want to get up into the main guy's office because there's a powwow safe there, up in the main guy. That's where he calls it the powwow safe because he was skimming money from the tribe, and he puts it in there. He's probably got He's probably got millions in there, millions in the powwow safe. Yeah, man, you
Must be
definitely
a pretty big safe.
you definitely want to get in there. Okay, this is important.
no, you'd be surprised how,
condensed.
yeah. I mean, sometimes there's times where I was holding like $10,000 in my hand.
Right.
And it was just like, this is not as impressive as I thought it would be. So when you see those like movies, like in The Dark Knight, when you lighten that whole thing on,
Right.
we're talking potentially billions of dollars
Yes.
in that thing.
That was a lot. No, I remember. I think the most I'd ever held in my hand when I worked in the bank was $200,000, and when I was counting the vault one time, and it was just like stack like this, and you've got $200,000 in your hands.
Yeah.
And it was nuts.
I remember your boss was pretty hot.
Which one?
The blonde.
Oh, okay. Well, don't worry.
Gary?
The one that
Yeah.
fired me? That
Oh,
one?
I'm so sorry. That bitch.
I don't think she's a listener. I hope not.
No, she's not. There's no way she's a listener.
There's no bad blood.
No bad blood. She's actually a very sweet lady. I don't.
I was a dick. Work the lobby. Yeah, okay. These people want to be harassed.
All right, they go into this recon visit. Rudy's starting to have fun. He's dressed like a cowboy. He goes in with Ashley. They go inside, and Ashley's saying to Rudy, "You're making it very hard to apologize." Like, "Oh, you're trying to say sorry? Say it with car keys." Lots of great little one-liners in here. And they're scoping around. He's acting like he recognizes the security guards. He doesn't know who the hell they are.
Yeah, it's Fred. Yeah,
Right. Oh, yeah, he works here.
he works here.
Really?
Then we meet Jack Banks, who is the head of the casino, played by Dennis Farina. And Dennis Farina hates snow. His whole thing in this movie is
The UP was a great place to go.
open a casino, and he's there with representatives from the tribe, and he's like, you wanted Las Vegas, you wanted Las Vegas casino, I gave it to you. You wanted Las Vegas experience, I gave it to you. I can't give you Las Vegas profits until you guys all come together and do a freaking rain dance or whatever, and do something about this damn snow. And that pissed him off because they stormed out after that.
It also fails to recognize, though, that the UP and northern Wisconsin rely heavily economically on that snow for snowmobile traffic and all of that. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
people stop in at casinos and restaurants and bars while snowmobiling.
Yeah. There's
And
so
they-
many bars off the path
Yeah.
of snowmobiles. Yeah.
For sure.
But I was going to say, Dennis, yeah, that's a good point. But that probably ties into his character not understanding how to like actually utilize the environment he's in.
Well, he's from
But
Vegas.
Dennis Farina is the best when he is frustrated about something.
Yes.
Like when he's pissed off, he's just so perfect.
He's fantastic. He comes downstairs, like they storm off. He's like, "You want to try the $5.99 prime rib buffet or whatever?" They're like, "Not interested." And this is where he runs into Ben Affleck at the bar, and he's like, "Oh, hey, cowboy, how you doing? Where are you from? How'd you hear about us?"
Prison.
And he just looks back at his bartender. Can't go back to Vegas.
How does that not set off alarm bells for him to just go, hey, we need to beef up security for the next couple of days if a bunch of people are meeting each other through
great
prison?
point.
There's actually more dialogue because I watched the director's cut of the
Oh,
film,
tell
which
us,
added 20 more minutes to this movie.
You saw another 20
Taking
minutes.
one for the team.
That's the only version I had, and I remember I liked the film.
It's on
back in-
HBO Max.
Yeah.
Well, what was the more dialogue between them?
I don't remember word for word, but he had more like maybe a 1 to 2 minute conversation with the bartender prior to Ben Affleck walking up right after,
okay.
and then the scene upstairs, what he had with the tribe, was extended, so they were talking back to him and doing.
So
more.
they cut out a bunch of Dennis Farina stuff in the theatrical cut.
Yes.
That's a travesty because he was great. They should have put more of his stuff in, not less, for me personally. Rudy spots Kelso from that 70s show.
Lauren was like, wait a second. Is that Ashton Kutcher? I was like,
Yeah. This was only a year after that 70s show started.
Yeah.
And because it was shot in 99, that show started in 98. And so he looks like a baby. He's got a goatee exactly like the fake one that Ben Affleck has on.
You had
terrible
a goatee.
90s
You had a goatee
goatee.
in
I
'99.
had one that looked exactly like
Ben
that.
Affleck's.
Yes.
Yes.
And Ashton Kutcher.
Yes. I remember the goatee. And
I
the-
rocked that thing probably in the year this movie came out.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It was awesome. I miss it sometimes. I dream about what it would be like to go back to those days where they would be okay, but they're not okay. And if I was to shave this off back into a goatee,
Goatees are not okay anymore.
no, gosh, no.
Oh, I've just started growing a beard the last
Well, that's
2
a
years.
beard.
I'm glad you let me know.
I'm sorry.
No, I had a goatee for a long time before.
He did. I just didn't want to be the one to tell you.
No.
Wow. What a real friend.
What does your wife
Like,
think?
I'll let him just look like an idiot.
You know what? I'm Nick instead of Rudy. What's up?
I was just asking Ryan over here. What does Lauren think of your
You're
goatee?
Rudy because you would go on the bus and just leave me standing there
I
with
would.
a goatee in the
I
blizzard.
would have done the right thing.
That's not the right thing.
Did
Tell
Lauren
me
like your goatee or not? Don't dodge the question.
I don't know. Honestly, I never know.
That's a fat no.
I
How
can
would
answer.
you know?
Not
You would
sure.
know.
You would know.
Okay.
Right?
I would answer that
She
question.
didn't ask me to shave it off or anything.
There you go.
So
Pat knows where I'm going with this.
I think Laura would Leave me if I shaved.
Right.
Have you seen what's underneath this beard? It's
daughter-
not good looking.
My daughter cried the last time I shaved it off. And she was like 17 at the time, and she just started crying.
You do know
My
I'm
dad's
joking, right?
ugly.
Yes. My dad's ugly.
I'm
I look like
absolutely
Wooly
joking.
Willy before you pull all the magnetic pieces into place. just a very featureless, just boring.
I love it. And we'll see it someday.
No.
All right, so he follows Kelso, Ashton Kutcher, into the bathroom and grabs him and throws him against the wall. And he's like, please don't kill me, don't kill me. He's like, relax, Santa's going to give you a cowboy western jacket and $100.
Yep.
Right? And throws the jacket and the hat on him. And Merlin, one of the ding-dongs, does something actually very smart here. He asks the waitress about the remodel.
Yeah.
Right? How long has it been since you remodeled? And she's like, what are you talking about? It's been the same. We only opened 5 years ago. It's been the same since we opened. And he beelines it for the bathroom where
That's smart.
Ben Affleck was. But he grabs Kelso instead and ends up getting Stone Cold Steve Austin dirty, what's that called? Mudhole
stomping.
Mudhole stomped in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then Rudy's out the back door while Ashton Kutcher takes off out the front door. And so Gary Sinise starts chasing him for a minute. So he's got a little bit of a head start, but he's running into the woods in the middle of Michigan somewhere.
Yeah, it's a smart idea.
Right?
If you can get to the woods before they can see you.
Yes.
But he's just running in the snow.
Right.
I got a question.
Everyone can see him.
Right.
I'm a heavy-set fella.
Yeah.
I didn't used to be. And when I didn't used to be, I could run faster than heavy-set fellas. How did they catch Ben Affleck?
Yeah. Donald Logue.
Yeah.
And Merlin, who's 62 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think,
62
right?
years old at the time.
When he made this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donald Logue, who's, not
About our size.
Yeah, he's not
know.
not necessarily
He likes
enormous.
cheese curds.
No.
But yeah, I
he
mean-
eats cheese curds for sure.
And then Batman. Right? Like,
Young Batman.
yeah, you're not catching young Batman. Are you kidding me?
There's no way. No way at all. They chase him through the woods, but two of them take the car to, like, I don't know, head him off at the pass or whatever. I know
Head them off at the pass. I hate that cliche.
Thank you for not letting me down. But Gary Sinise and Ashley are in the car
Yeah, Chryslers work really well in
Okay.
freaking UP snow.
to try and drive around to where Ben might come out of the woods. Here's a major issue I have. It's just them in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Gary and Ashley keep it going, the subterfuge, when they're in the car alone?
Because we're watching. It's so stupid.
But
Yeah.
I know it's because we're watching, but it doesn't make any sense within the movie because we find out here in a couple scenes that they're a couple, the two of them.
Right.
Right? And that they're playing Rudy, that she's sleeping with him, even though she's also sleeping with what's supposedly her brother, but they're in cahoots.
So I think she might have been worried that he was actually going to just kill him.
I get why she stops
But
him from killing him.
That should have tipped him off, and she wouldn't have been acting the way she was acting.
Right. Like there would have at least been some kind of conversation like, I can't believe we let this guy get away. Well, idiot, I was trying to keep him in the casino, but whatever. All of that,
Maybe they're just method.
not there.
And they got to stay in their character all the time.
When the guy they're trying to convince is in the woods somewhere,
Yeah, they
and
still got to
they're
stay in
never know.
character.
they're in here.
Jim
Did you
Carrey
ever-
was always Andy Kaufman. Didn't matter what he was doing.
Right. Okay. It just doesn't make a whole lot of
documentary's
sense. Because when they come around the corner, Ben is actually in the road, and she does grab the wheel so that he won't, because it looks like he's just going to run him over.
They
I
were
get why-
suck at face, guarantee you, right before she saw him. She's like, oh, all right, jerk the wheel.
Yeah, right. They should have been doing something.
Yeah, they should have been doing
But
something.
I get why you don't want Rudy to die. You need Rudy because you need 5 Santas or whatever it is, right? But which we find out later.
Got a
But
5-5.
got it. It's got to be 5. So she jerks the wheel out of the way. Gabriel and her get out of the car. Now Gabriel's going to shoot Rudy, who's now fallen down the hill or whatever. She tackles Gabriel, and they all go down the hill. Again, I get all that, but in the car, they shouldn't have been still in character. They should have been talking to each other. It doesn't make any sense. Don't show them just riding along. Cut to him when he's got to get there, or whatever. They all go down the hill. Gabriel has been knocked out, and now it's Ben and Ashley taking off across a frozen lake with everybody in pursuit, right? And as they're running across the frozen lake, that's made out of metal ice, there's gunshots ricocheting off the ice, making the sound of bullets hitting metal. I don't know if you guys noticed that. It's like pa-ting, pa-ting.
I didn't notice that.
Oh, yeah. Metal ice, which
Awesome.
is really hard to get through. They get to a point where ultimately a lucky shot from Gabriel does break the ice, and Charlize Theron's character, Ashley, falls through the ice into the water.
I was a little confused because she ends up 40 feet away.
Yeah.
And Lauren was like, how does that work? And I was like, well, if it was a river, it wouldn't, because she would have just kept going.
Right.
And if it's a lake, what is she doing?
It doesn't make any sense at all, because when Ben Affleck, there's about 5 seconds from when she goes down that he gets down there. But 5 seconds. But once he gets underwater, she's 40 feet away, pounding the ice. He has to swim for longer than he waited. He has to swim with effort to get to where she is. Meaning, when she fell in, she had to have taken off swimming effort with like purposely just to get somewhere to
Maybe
start
it's
pounding
thinner
the ice.
here.
Right.
There is a thing where people do, that is part of what causes some of these deaths, if people do fall through the ice, is the disorientation, but not 40 feet away.
Right.
Where it's only 5 seconds later that he's in the water.
Not even probably.
Right. And he's so far away from
And they're all a terrible shot at this point, because he's just standing there thinking, like,
what am I going to do? She was trying to swim to the shore, I think is what she did, I'll tunnel my way under the ice when I get back to the sand. Like, I don't understand what the problem is here.
That was really thin ice too.
It was.
And yet, someone's ice fishing out there.
They blast through it.
Yeah.
Gabriel, now the bad guys, the Ding Dong Squad, has caught up. They blast through it, pull the two of them out. And then, yes, this is one time where being Midwestern nice comes back to bite Mr. Michigan ice fisherman out here. Because he goes, oh, you guys need help out here? And even Alan's like, dude, get the frick out of here.
And they're even like, what? And he's like, do you need help?
What's up? Why do you have all those guns?
Yeah.
That's kind of strange.
Pheasant hunting.
We're just out here swimming. When you see 3 guys with guns firing into the ice and they pull 2 people out of it, maybe just
walk away.
Keep fishing.
How does the shack not fall through that ice? That ice was not thick at all when they showed.
No.
Yeah, it was about an inch thick.
It wasn't.
There's no way.
And they don't get hypothermia either, which is pretty awesome for them.
He did play off like he was probably hypothermic though.
Now, you were telling me, Bob, that in the director's cut, there was a lot more with this ice fisherman.
Yeah, so Gabriel tracks the guy after firing 2 or 3 shots into his ice fishing shack.
Which is all we see. We think we shoot him through the shack or whatever.
Which is pretty much what they did in the theatrical cut. In the director's cut, he kicks down the shack door and the guy's bleeding on the ground, and Gabriel shoots the ice around him. The guy falls through the ice.
Whoa.
Nice.
So, and then when you the following scene is when they get back and Gary Sinise is rocking out in the room. There's 2 kids playing on the ping pong, or not ping pong, what the hell?
Yeah, the
video games. Sorry.
The video games.
And then Merlin, Clarence Williams' character, pinball, thank you. Clarence Williams grabs the kids and throws them out the door.
Thank you.
And then they bring Ben Affleck in, and it goes on for a couple minutes before he starts wailing darts.
Yeah, see, this is a big problem I had. Is the next scene, Ben's there shivering. They're in the game room.
Right.
Obviously, there's video games and pinball games and stuff. There's this game room, and they've just taken over this game room in the motel, and they're screaming, chucking darts into a guy. And I just imagine there's kids standing right outside. They're going, "I just want to play pinball."
Right. No, there was, because the start of the scene is Gary Sinise doing his rock,
more sense.
doing his rock thing, and then these kids run in, and then Clarence grabs the kids and throws them out. They drag Ben in, and he starts talking to him.
Well, this is when Gary Sinise starts to imitate Nick. Well, I don't know. They must have remodeled the place, right? They said, "Oh, this is over here."
He doesn't imitate him until like 3 minutes. He has like a 3-minute monologue that Nick doesn't say anything about. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't remember it.
No,
but
it's okay.
And then he goes into into
the whole thing.
Into the whole thing. So he only throws like a couple darts at him.
In the theatrical cut, he hits him with 2 darts.
So in the director's cut, he says, "I'll make you a deal, Nick. If you can hit the dartboard and get a bullseye, I'll let you go." So that wasn't in the theatrical cut. So Nick's doing this. He throws it, misses. It doesn't even hit the dartboard.
Hands shaking.
And then Gary Sinise hits the dartboard. And then he sits down. Then it goes into that.
Yeah.
But there was more darts thrown at Nick. Like it was like 7 darts up and down his back that they actually. Yeah, it's really.
Okay. So chopping up this scene made the scene actually make a whole lot of no sense because what they kept in from Gary Sinise is now they've got Rudy back in this game room for the first time. They realized the remodeling thing was a hoax, right? He's letting them have the dinner was over here and the buffet was over here and the games and all this, and he starts going on this rant. And it's a really good speech.
It is
from Gary Sinise, and Gary Sinise is a great actor and all that, but when he's hitting him with darts, or first he's missing into the wall. He goes, "Please don't start trying to hit me." He's like, "Nick, I've been trying to hit you," right? And puts one right in his chest, right in his shoulder. But then there's a shot where he's hunched over in the theatrical cut, and you see one sticking out of his back. And I'm like, well, when did he hit him in the back? We only saw him hit him with 2. So when you chop up a scene like this, you create all these issues that don't make
They should have just left
any
the
sense.
scene the way it was.
Left the scene the way it was.
It was perfect because he does, like I said, he does a 3-minute dialogue before he goes into the.
Well, I wonder if this director's cut then, because this was supposed to be released, I think, on Christmas Day of '99.
Yeah.
And when they showed it to test audiences was like, nope, don't like this. And one of the things that they did complain about was some of the excessive violence that they talked about. And so that was probably part of what they took out then.
That's crazy.
They did say, the same thing. They did say that the dart scene was excessively violent. I mean, it didn't bug me. But
It's not like there was a bunch of blood or anything.
No, but I mean, you could just imagine the sound of dart scene thrown at you.
Yeah,
It's like Macaulay Culkin throwing the bricks at Marv.
Yes,
That
I love
scene
that.
it's a great scene, but it's so painful because you're just like, that shit looks like it hurts.
Gary Sinise looks jacked in this scene. He's in there in just a white
Lieutenant
beater.
Dan.
I know. I just, this whole scene, I was like, is he yelling at Ben Affleck or Storm? You know, like, you call this a storm?
He's talking about how he's tired. He's like, every day I'm up and down there happy. He's like, these people want me off their happy highways, and I'm getting nothing but crap. I've been trucking forever, however long.
Dude, it's true.
And I've been reaching down.
People have no respect for truck drivers.
No.
It's insane. Trying to get into a lane or merge, they don't want to let you in. It's like, you got 2 options.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit you, and then you're going to go into every single car that I knock you in.
Right.
Or you can just let me the F in.
It's a great speech, and Gary Sinise acts the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And it's all this time I've been trucking. I've been waiting for God to reach down and say, here is your reward.
Yeah. It's a great scene.
And this is why they're finally trying to not have to truck anymore.
Is it possible that they don't want him on the highway, not simply because he's a trucker, but because he is an illegal arms runner?
But how would you know if he's a legal arms runner if you don't see inside his truck?
I mean, he's got that wall that he just has with guns all over when we get to that point. But yeah, you know.
I mean, maybe it's the monster and the skulls and, the half-naked babes.
But he wants his money. He wants what's coming to him. And he's very entitled. He feels like he's entitled to millions of dollars because of his hardships from trucking,
And just like Matt's entitled to like the garbage movie The Net.
Yeah. I mean, you're entitled to like that if you like it.
Okay. First of all,
Oh, I didn't know if you were actually going to
Is there a second of all?
Okay, all right.
we won't get into it.
All right,
It's
that's fine.
It's fine.
Back in the room. Okay, but here's where the movie then takes this dramatic scene, awesomely acted by Gary Sinise. He's getting darts thrown into him, and then it immediately undercuts it with stupidity as he gets back into his room, and Ashley goes, "What did they do to you?" He had some points to make.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, bro, would you make that joke after you just had 9 darts?
Can I tell you how easy it is to break a bed frame with your leg?
Dude.
It's pretty, those are
Pretty
just like
easy.
tapped together, like the I don't know the proper term, but it's like they're tap weld.
Yes.
And they break apart very easily. All you got to do is just pull that shenanigan.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
literally
Just pull it.
your leg power will be able to separate that damn thing.
There's a moment we're getting close to the point of Ashley being revealed, and this is the last kind of real moment they have fake real moment they have together. Is he's still shivering from being hypothermic, and she's not, but whatever. She took a hot shower or something, and she's basically saying, "You saved my life. Why did you save my life?" And he says, "All those letters I read to Rudy." He's pretending to be Nick, right? I could tell. He listened, and I think Rudy was also falling in love with you. And now this whole time she knows he's full of crap, right? And as she's cradling him, her face is hidden from his face, and she gets this like look on her face. It's like the only moment I waited for this whole movie of her to show some kind of like, I don't know if it's remorse or conflicted about what she's doing to him or whatever. But even in this moment, it's really just kind of emptiness in her face to a certain extent.
Matches the plot.
We never really get that moment from her.
Yeah.
That no matter what he's done, he's not won her over even like 5%. Do you know what I mean? I kept waiting for that moment where she was at least for just a moment's hesitation.
But I think that matches her character.
Yeah.
Later, we kind of see like she's doubled down already, you know?
Right.
And so like
She's tripled down at this point, right?
Yeah.
She's like a triple agent.
yeah. So it's like it kind of makes sense that she wouldn't. You're so far down the rabbit hole.
She probably doesn't remember which character she's supposed to be playing at
I
that
know.
point.
That's
Is this
what I'm
where I
saying.
reveal myself for the first? Oh yes. This is where I take my top off.
So they go back. They're back in the truck trailer again, and they're like, "Here's the map. Be real this time." And it's so obvious. He's such a bad actor, not Ben, but Rudy, that it's so obvious to anybody that he's making this up as he's going along. But these truckers are so stupid that they don't realize. He's like, "Oh well, what." You got to go over here, obviously, and you got to get a guy in the cage and a sweeper on the left, and you're going to want to get somebody in the security office. Like, what about the powwow? Oh, yeah, the powwow safe. You're going to want to get to that. And it's like anyone with a brain could see he's fudging this as he goes. But he basically says, I want you to draw the security level down to every ashtray, get this done. And Nick's like, well, we gotta have 5. You need 6 people to pull this off, right? And he's like, nope, you're not being part of this, and talks his way into the crew basically, so that there'd be enough Santas. And this is where he finds out that they are going to be dressed up as Santas to go in.
'Tis the season.
Because he said in his letter, supposedly, on Christmas Eve, there's no security. They send everybody home, and nobody's in there.
Here's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
All the guns are just displayed on this wall.
No,
this-
they're not just displayed. You got to pull back the closet door. It's like that shitty closet door.
Well, but there was the closet door reveal for the Santa suits.
Yeah.
Right.
The Santa suits have to be behind.
The guns.
They have to be hidden. But the guns are just right up above them.
Don't let anybody see the Santa costumes.
You peek. Oh, hey, what's this? What's this wall of guns?
Maybe they're proud of the Second Amendment. I don't know.
I think gun runners would want to hide all of their guns all the time.
Right. We want them to think we're hauling Santa suits.
Right.
Not guns.
Didn't Clint Eastwood just throw the drugs in the back of his pickup truck in the mule?
Did he?
He did. That's literally, legitimately, he did.
In his pickup, he's just driving down the highway. What's
I
that?
feel like,
Blocks of X? Sorry.
I feel like as gun runners, they wouldn't have the finances to have this many guns. Because if they're using the guns that they're running,
Right.
the people that they're running them for are going to want those back.
You'd think.
I love all these non-practical assault weapons that they have in here.
Dude.
There's not maybe there's a couple pistols and a couple of shotguns, but
They're
then they
all
have
obnoxious.
I think one of them had the gun from Die Hard with that crazy fin on top, and
Yes.
what are you using that for?
Yeah, they
It's a
definitely
grenade launcher.
Maybe you would have millions if you weren't spending all your money running around everywhere in this truck. It gets 4 miles to the gallon. Drive one of those Chryslers.
And here's the other thing. Every trucker I know, and I know a few that have their own business and run their own trucks, all make bank.
Right.
Okay. They all do very well for themselves. And second, wouldn't you make a ton of money running guns? I'd imagine that would be a profitable industry to get
no
into.
taxes.
I know drug dealers do real well, so I got to imagine gun runners aren't making, minimum wage.
Why are they in Iron Mountain, though?
I don't know.
There's a gun shop every 5 feet.
Well, I get that, but I would assume that these are being run for some sort of cartel or a gang or something like that. Iron Mountain
It's not a thoroughfare.
doesn't make sense.
No.
Maybe it's easier to get them there.
That the corridor from New York to LA runs right through Iron Mountain, right?
Right.
Gotta go up a little.
Like
Nowhere near it.
It's right on the border of Wisconsin. If you drive straight north, oh, hey, look, largest body of fresh water in the world.
Yep.
It's not even like you're over there by, like Mackinac Island at least, where it's like, hey, we can go up to Canada. Maybe they're running across the border. No.
Exactly. The cops would never suspect it.
No.
And it also,
Or if they
wasn't
found
it
their
like
guns, they'd be like, sorry, boot that.
Yeah, and it's something like Motor City. By the way, how come there was not a single Uber accent in this movie? And it says Motor City, which is like an 8-hour drive from Iron Mountain.
No, I know. All
It's just
kinds of
Hollywood
things.
always does this like Pick some place in the Midwest. They're all the same.
They're all the same. No one knows anything. No one will care.
Midwest nice gets turned down quite a bit once you get into Chicago.
People in Michigan don't even know where Iron Mountain is.
Yeah.
Right? All right. Back in the hotel, Nick had stashed a dart from the game room in his butthole or something. I don't know. He gets the dart out.
They call that a prison wallet.
He kept it right next to his candy cane.
That's right.
Yeah.
He uses the dart to unscrew the bed leg, okay? And he escapes from his hotel room. He goes out the window and he sees a truck that, based on a bumper sticker, thinks has a gun.
All he had to do was stand up and flip the damn bed over.
You're right.
Literally. You are a 6'4", 230-pound man. You are Ben effing Affleck.
Those beds are heavy, dude.
They're not that heavy. They're not heavy at all.
What are you talking about?
Flip the box spring and the mattress up at the same time. Flip it over. Bam.
But there's two mattresses together.
What?
Have you ever tried to lift two mattresses at the same time?
It's not that
very
hard.
simple. Wham!
Not everybody's
Yeah,
Bob
but the
Howard.
noise would have brought some people, I guess, maybe.
Just
What about
Or
the
just
headboard?
slide
What if
it.
he'd broken his toe on the headboard?
yeah, that's a matter.
That
Okay.
happens.
He pulls a
It
mantle up.
happens.
If he didn't break it in that lovemaking scene earlier, I don't think he's going to break his toe with one person in the bed.
That's true.
I got a bigger beef with the fact that here is a guy. He is a carjacker.
Yeah. He gets down
He
into the
breaks
truck.
into a car
Yeah.
and steals a knife.
Yeah, wouldn't he just hop in the car and go?
We think so. He goes.
I don't know, maybe.
He goes out the window. He sees a Second
I
Amendment.
like guns.
A Second Amendment bumper sticker on this truck, so he assumes there's one in the glove box. Goes in, which is not a bad idea. You think you can get a gun? Get a gun. You're in trouble. He goes in. There's no gun. There's a knife. But now you're in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Did he search the glove box when he got in there?
I think he did.
That's where he found the knife,
That's where he
I
found the
think.
knife.
Okay, he didn't search anywhere. I thought he went into the toolbox at first and got the knife and walked out.
he
Maybe
sees the-
flip the seat over.
He sees the
Probably
bad
done
guys
that.
walking through the parking lot talking, and so he ducks down. Why on earth would the bad guys be looking inside of random vehicles?
Right.
Right? So you get the bad guys like going, looking in this truck. There really is no plausible reason they'd be
No.
doing that. Okay. He would have just left, but the reason he doesn't just hotwire it and go is Ashley. He goes back in to get Ashley, right? He evades the guys, goes back into the hotel, and this is where he witnesses something that if he had known, he would have just hotwired that car and gotten the hell out of there. But he sees Gary Sinise and Ashley in the pool of the hotel. No one else is in there. It's just the two of them. Probably took a bunch of kids by their swim trunks and threw them out like they did in the game room. Get out of here, you little bastards. Okay?
I need to make some love to my sister.
That's right. In the hotel pool, which anyone can look in at any time.
Yep.
Okay?
That's the Midwest.
Right? I mean, there's just not a lot of privacy at the hotel pool. But regardless, he's now around the corner and he hears what he thinks is Ashley in distress, but it's not. They're just having an argument about the way things have been going, and he finds out they're together. She says, "You don't understand. We can't," because he just like, let's just get rid of Rudy. She's like, no, the more he wants me, the more he's going to help. And she takes off her top and walks over to Gary Sinise, jumps up on him, like, and to the audience, you're like, what the frick? Like, she's been playing Rudy the whole time.
I thought this was Michigan, not Alabama.
it's not
Or
actually,
Star Wars.
It's not actually. Oh, jeez.
Same quality.
George Lucas, you sick bastard.
And he walks over to I'm sorry, I got sidetracked for a second. So after he sees this happen between the two of them, where they're getting it on, they're not really brother and sister, they're playing him. He goes, "See you later, a-holes," to himself. But as he's about to leave, the other ding-dongs are coming the other way, and he hears them talking about how they're going to go check on him in his room. So Ferris Bueller style, he's got to beat them to the hotel room and get in.
And they
there.
took two separate steroids.
I just want one movie where he doesn't try to get back to the room and they just catch him in the hallway.
Really?
Just out for a stroll, man. Yeah, you tied me to a shitty frame of a bed. You're a moron.
Right.
I just
How come
want
there was nobody outside the
own it.
door to
just
begin with?
own it and just talk trash to him.
Why isn't someone guarding the room?
Yeah.
Where's the lobby guy? Where's the lobby guy?
Oh no,
Yeah.
we've tied him to this flimsy bed. We don't need to guard the room.
They're checking for change out in the parking lot.
Right inside people's cars. Rudy gets to the door and he hotwires the hotel door like I can hotwire a car. I should be able to hotwire a hotel door. And he's got this knife that he's stolen. He's working in the guts of this door mechanism.
That was the stupidest thing ever.
And I'm assuming I was like, yeah, that probably totally would
That was
work.
plausible.
I mean, think about it. It's kind of like, would you take your laptop to the mechanic and be like, yo, you can fix this, right? You can fix my car.
Exactly.
You can fix my laptop.
And the door also works perfectly fine after he rapes it with a knife because he goes back inside and the dude comes up and uses his key card. No problem at all.
Yeah.
Gets in and he's just sitting in the room tossing cards. Hey, what's up, man? Again, he Ferris Bueller'd him. No problem at all. His opportunity to get away has slipped. Again, if he wasn't booty blinded, he wouldn't have ran back in after her.
But he could have, as soon as the guy left again, he could have just hopped out the window again, gotten in a car, and left.
Right.
Right.
After they said, all right, he's cool. That's a great point. Yes. They've checked on you. They go back out, close it, lift it back up, and go.
And the fact that it's the middle of winter in the UP and the window is wide open when they come in.
Yeah. They're like, it's fine.
That's cool. Dude just fell through a lake and is probably trying to warm up. But yeah, his room is 12 degrees.
No problem.
There was also another scene where Clarence is downstairs smoking and Rudy opens and shuts the window. And they're just staring at each other
Yes.
for about a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, and also Merlin, Clarence Williams' character, eats somebody else's food off of their room service tray that's out in
That
the
was
hallway.
disgusting.
Who on earth? That's when I was like, this dude's a psychopath. Who does that?
These are not good people.
No.
He's hungry.
Okay,
man.
but dude, there used to be a guy we had tables with at TGI Fridays back in the day, and the dude would do that. He'd bust people's tables, bring them back, and before he dumped them, he would take pieces off that looked okay and
No.
eat off of them.
Yeah, we had that happen at Chili's one time.
Yeah.
Where somebody had brought a birthday cake and a bunch of it just didn't get eaten and it came back.
Yeah.
And like the dishwasher was eating it. So, I mean, it went from the
Yeah.
waiter pre-bussing to the dish. Anyway, so it was in the bins with all other stuff
dude.
dumped on top of it.
And the guy pulled it out and ate
Dude.
it.
And it was just sitting there mowing down on birthday
Yeah.
cake.
Some psychos don't give a crap, bro.
I mean, if you're hungry, you're hungry, I
That's
guess.
a chicken finger right there. Looks fine. I'm eating it. Yeah, no thanks. All right. To rush back to his room later on, they pull him out, and we're about to get to the heist here finally. As is a lot, some of the plots we've talked about are very simple. This is not a simple plot, so there's a lot for us to get through. But we're about to get to the heist finally. They pull him out of the room. They beat him up over a $300 bill he racked up between pay-per-view and mini bar stuff, which I thought was kind of hilarious.
Dude, that Carmen Electra video probably came out that year. That's like $50 right there.
Danny Trejo was like, "It was on my credit card," you know.
That hotel doesn't have a mini bar either. Are you kidding me? This thing makes the Red Roof Inn look like...
No, it was like the Night's Inn or something like that, right?
Like, get out of here. There's no mini bar.
I slept at several nights in. Yeah.
He had asked for a gun, and they hand him one, and he's like, here's your gun. You wanted one, here it is, and it's a squirt gun. And this is where we get the line from Merlin. He goes, "What do you say to Santa's dwarves?" He's like, "Santa's elves."
Yeah.
He say,
Santa's elves,
"Thank
man."
you." And on their way to the heist, Pug gives him some rum, and he actually fills the gun with rum and starts shooting it into his own mouth and hands it back to him. All right. We ready for the heist?
Oh, yeah, we're ready.
Yeah.
Here we go. Two Santas. One of them's Ben Affleck and the other one's Trejo, I think, roll in. No one blinks an eye. They've sent security guards home, right? Not a lot of people here. So go ahead and send some of your guys home. Dennis Farina says. Right then, two Santas in the dead of night on Christmas Eve roll into the place, making all kinds of ruckus. No one bats an eye, right? This is totally normal.
I've been to Iron Mountain.
Yeah.
There are 0 department stores, 0 malls. There is nothing around there.
Right.
So
Let
these
alone
guys
5 of them.
These guys drove 5 hours to get there?
Right. He's like, "Oh, I'm from Macy's and I'm from, I don't even remember.
There is no Macy's
Lindstrom's or whatever.
anywhere.
Right. There's just
There's
no way.
barely a Walmart.
And even the security guard's like, "Is there a union for Santas?" Like he's even asking the question. And they go and they start to raise hell at the blackjack table. And I love the old man
Yes.
that was playing blackjack next to Ben
Messing him
Affleck.
up.
It's like, you freaking keep hitting for my car. And the old man goes, "Well, why don't you go find a chimney and fall down it?" You know? It's like, I love this guy. And eventually Ben Affleck and 2 more Santas come in. Nobody's like, "All right, weird. Cool." Ben finally flips the blackjack table after he whines enough about losing his cards or whatever and tackles the old man. And as he's down there, he's like, "All right, stay down, Pops. It's okay." Like he's trying to tell him, relax. You had to tackle this old man. It's good. At this point, the security's coming down the stairs. Gary Sinise uses that to get up the stairs to follow the map, takes a right into the broom closet where the map had said he was supposed to go. And this is where he realizes the map isn't for crap. Kicks the door open to the security room and starts firing his machine gun around.
Yeah.
Shut off the alarms. It was crazy. Donald Logue and Trejo try to get into the gun room because there's no guns in the gun room. It's where the money is, right?
Wrong.
And so they get these security guards are like, "What's the combination?" He's like, "There's no combination. It's a key." Right? It's everything. All the information's going wrong. They finally blast their way into the door, and there's 3 dudes with shotguns.
Yeah.
And the first guy to get it out of the Santas is Donald Logue. Pug just takes one right in the chest, goes flying back into the cage.
And then apparently Clarence Williams had the greatest aim from the sideways angle to knock off all 3 of them through a 30-inch door.
Through a 30-inch door, 2 guys were off on the sides and stuff.
Through a cage and a 30-inch door.
I was really confused. I thought that he got one of them, and there were still guys in there, and they were going to have
No,
kind of a siege.
Clarence got all 3 security guards from the other side of the cage at a, I don't know what the direct angle, but
which
kind of
makes
like
no
where
sense.
I'm right
It doesn't make
here,
any sense at all.
Where that was right there, through a cage into that area if I'm shooting from this angle.
You got to curve the bullet.
Yeah, you got
to like in Wanted.
Yeah, you got to curve the bullet. And then Christopher Nolan always says, "You didn't shoot the bullet, you caught the bullet."
That's right. That's right.
What does that even mean?
It doesn't mean
It doesn't
anything.
mean shit.
That's what
That
I'm
sounds
saying.
really
it doesn't mean
pretentious.
anything. Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of Hollywood people. They are very pretentious. Think they're saying important stuff.
After they take these 2 guys out, Merlin turns around and starts to lose it at Ben. He's like, "There's no guns in the gun room. You said there's 3 guns in the gun room."
Oh, and it's just like Merlin. He's been lying to you this whole time.
Like, you're all idiots. Of course this isn't true.
I'm not even going to say, pull your head out of your ass.
Yes, because the dude was obviously making up everything he was saying to you.
If you
a 4-year-old,
a blind Stevie Wonder could hear his voice saying he's lying.
After he made up the remodeling thing, you're surprised that there's guns in the gun room? Like, come on, man. And at this point, 2 random park rangers who are there to gamble come in. They've got their guns out, but they get ran over by Ashley, who just drives her car into the casino and runs them over. What do these park rangers do? I know
You're DNR rangers, aren't they?
You're a DNR ranger. Whatever. You're not a cop. My God, you see a place getting shot up by a bunch of Santas. Get out of there. Go call the police.
If anyone knows a DNR person, do they carry firearms? I'm quite curious.
I've never seen one with a gun.
All right. In this case, they both had giant guns.
I know they both had 9mm Berettas.
Well, and if this was a native casino, probably on the reservation, so probably would have been reservation police that would have been showing up, not DNR.
Yeah.
She comes in, runs them over, and she gets out and she yells at Merlin, who's still ranting about the guns.
Forget about him and get the money.
Forget about him, get the money. And this is where Ashley now fully reveals herself to Ben Affleck and walks up and just puts a gun straight up to his head, right? Forget about him. She says it again, but this time making eye contact. Forget about
He
him.
had the best face when the Santa's beard got pulled. When she pulls down his Santa's beard, he just had the best.
Yeah.
I hate life face on. I do love Ben Affleck.
Right.
So his facial expressions are great.
And she's spouting something about her motivation about growing up in a trailer park or something. We never had anything and all this, whatever, as she's dragging him into the money room and they're all starting to pack. And there he is.
Now I can get the good meth.
There's a ton of money on this table. They are packing it into these bags.
This is a prequel to Breaking Bad.
Jesse Pinkman.
Cut upstairs. Gabriel is trying to get Jack Banks, who's all beat up and bloodied now, to open the powwow safe. Okay.
Powwow safe. I want the powwow safe.
But Jack is just muttering, I can't go back to Vegas.
I don't give a shit about Vegas.
I listen to Gary Sinise yell all day long. I don't care.
It's great.
He's just yelling, I don't give a crap about Vegas. At this point, they've got the money. Everyone who's still alive, not Donald Logue, is now comes upstairs into this office. And so they're all standing in a semicircle around. And he's like, Nick Cassidy said there's a powwow safe. Oh, you remember Nick? And he drags Nick over and puts him right in Dennis Farina's face. And he goes, that's not Nick Cassidy.
I have a hard time believing this guy would know instantly a security guard that worked for him briefly a couple years ago would be somebody he knows.
He goes, Nick Cassidy worked for me 2 years ago. Cowboy. It's a cowboy. Right? And he stands up and he goes, well, story of your life, Ash. You screwed the wrong guy. Rudy Duncan. We still spending Christmas together? Great delivery by Ben Affleck in this moment. And he's surrounded. He knows he's screwed. And he's still like taking a victory lap, basically, in front of all these guys. And now they're going to kill him. He's like, no, wait. The powwow safe is real. I listened to his letters. Nick told me about and even Ash, like, he's stalling. He's been stalling us this whole time. There's no powwow safe.
I believe Dennis Farna is laying there going, oh.
Right. And then Rudy pulls the correct spot for the safe out of his butt, and it's glorious.
It is.
He's like, where is it then? Behind the liquor cabinet. And he's right.
Yes.
It was
That's where it always is.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. And Ben's face when they pull the liquor cabinet back, he's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And even Gary Sinks like, holy crap, there's a powwow safe
Yes.
here. He gets up Farina. He's like, all right, open it up. And he steps back, and now they're all in a semicircle. And Farina's just getting the safe open and digging in. And you just hear Ben go, pow, wow. And Farina goes, powwow safe, and turns around with these freaking guns.
Like Uzi.
Sprays Trejo.
Gets Trejo immediately, and everyone's diving out of the way. And he's now dual wielding machine guns.
Yes.
Oh, it was so fantastic.
Welcome to the Tomahawk.
That's right. That's the best line.
I love it.
They so it's like got these windows that overlook the casino. They're all diving out of the windows down to the first floor in the casino. He's shooting up slot machines, and he goes, "Hey Santa, welcome to the Tomahawk."
It's great.
Right, just shooting up the whole place. Oh, it's such a great.
And one of
The movie could have been all this. It would have been awesome.
And I'm actually grateful it wasn't all that because
Yeah.
the ending's so awesome. The freaking Clarence Williams,
Yes.
he's dripping, the gun's dripping. And he
Yeah, well,
goes,
so what happens is Rudy or Monster and Ashley take off.
you
and
didn't
now
like this, Pat?
No.
Oh, come on.
It's so dumb. Rudy and Merlin are now wrestling over a gun, okay, which Rudy gets, and they stand up, and he's pointing the gun at him, and
Starts leaking.
It's leaking. It's his rum gun.
Yeah.
And so here's why Merlin deserved to get burned alive, because he makes 2 or 3 insanely stupid decisions in the span of 4 seconds. Right?
Yes.
He bends down. He's like, ha ha ha, picks up a real gun. Shoot him. Shoot him now. Shoot him right now. What are you doing?
Yeah, but when you gotta smoke, you gotta smoke.
It's true.
First he goes,
True story.
God is good. I love he goes, God is good. I'm like, okay, yeah, that seems like what's happening here. Secondly, he then doesn't shoot him. He pulls out a cigarette. He's doing this one-handed.
Yeah.
Pulls out a cigarette, and then he gives a line that makes no sense in context. He goes, what do you say to Santa's dwarves? Like, in the context of this moment, why would you say that to him? What is he supposed to be? Do you get what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
makes no
I
sense.
think he's thankful for the fact of what he's doing. Like,
And so then he lights his lighter.
that's why he's thankful because he gave him an opening to do what he
Right,
has
but
to
why
do.
say that to Rudy?
I don't know. I guess it's just maybe it's dumb, but
It's only
great.
he only says it to give Rudy the chance to have a send-off line.
Yes.
Which he says, thank you, and squirts the rum into his lighter, which engulfs Merlin in flames.
It's great.
Here we go, a flaming ding-dong just flailing around the floor of the
I
casino.
don't feel like you'd get that much out of that. Like that much spray. Like
What would happen?
I feel like
Probably
it'd go
nothing.
It would
and blow
exterminate
out.
the light, I
Yeah,
think, is
the
what
light would go out. And the guy would be like,
he'd be mad
"Thanks
because he
for the
couldn't light
rum."
his smoke.
I know, but the fact that he had 19,000 chances to kill him, every second that went by was another second he could have just shot him. I think he died the death he deserved to die in that moment.
I won't argue that.
Because he's an idiot. Okay? I mean, just wait here and light the cigarette instead of, I guess, when you got to smoke.
Well, now we find out that was the melted into the car Santa,
Yes.
who somehow the suit is not really that burned.
No, it's not.
Just the person inside.
It looks pretty good, actually. He was engulfed
Whereas
in
I was
flame.
thinking, like, hey, I mean, maybe it's an asbestos Santa suit. Maybe
No.
it's an old one.
No.
Why is it so itchy?
The snow of Iron Mountain, man, cooled him off.
Rudy tries to make it out the back door while they show this. While he's running out the back, they show Gabriel and Ashley had gotten back into the car that was in the middle of the casino, and they're backing out of the casino. Rudy's going out the back door. But when he gets out the back door, Gabriel is waiting with a gun there for him. And Ashley comes out from inside the casino where he just was.
Doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense at all. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. They cut something out, maybe. I don't know. But the way you've now edited it together makes 0 sense at all. Just dumb. They're driving the rig away. It's now the 3 of them are the only people that have survived. Gary Sinise go crazy. We took down the place with the wrong guy. Can you believe it? Is this Christmas or what? Yeah. We took down the place with the wrong guy. And their plan is to back the rig up to a cliff. And there's a car in the trailer that they're going to put Rudy in and have him, doused in flames or whatever, and make it seem like he lost control and went off the cliff. And that's the 5th Santa, right? Okay. So
That'd only be the fourth Santa.
it would only be the fourth Santa at this point, but they think, that's how he died. Okay. Now, forget the fact that it would be nothing but semi-tracks all the way up until the edge of the cliff where then you roll the car off. Okay. Again, these aren't geniuses we're dealing with here. They're going to kill him by just shoving him off the thing. And even as they're dragging Rudy back to put him in the car, he goes, "You're smart. You're so smart, right? You're smarter than everybody." And I think, and I know I talked to you about this, I think I realized this is, I don't know, my third or fourth viewing of this movie. This is what the movie is. It's the prequel to Idiocracy. Have any of you ever seen Idiocracy?
Yep.
Okay. So a lot of the big criticism this movie gets is that the characters behave stupidly and they all do stupid things. And so it becomes a lot better when you realize that this is like a documentary about morons. The whole movie is about stupid people doing stupid things. They're all idiots. Ben Affleck is also an idiot. He's just 5% smarter than all of the other people. And that makes him the smartest guy in the movie, in the same way that Luke Wilson, being a regular average dumb dude, was just smarter than everybody because he went back, or in the future, when everyone was a moron.
Right.
Everybody in the movie is an idiot.
I think everyone in the movie is too close to how real people act, and that's why people don't like it. 'Cause people don't act the way that we think they do in movies. Like,
Right.
people act in very stupid ways because we don't act rationally.
No. And so when you just realize that they're all just morons and you just give into that fact that you're just watching a bunch of stupid people be stupid, for me, it changed my enjoyment of the movie. That's just my 2 cents. And it triggered it by him dragging him going, "Oh, you're smarter than everybody." I was like, yeah, he's dumb. He's just a little smarter than you are. As they're putting him back there, or they're about to put him back there, he's talking to Ashley, or he's trying to have. He goes, "I saved your life," right? After he explains, "Well, she told me about these convict magazines, so I just say, we'll stock up on stationery. Some guy's got to have some good intel in prisons." And I'm like, okay, that's the dumbest idea ever, but cool.
Yeah, I don't think that guy's using the word stationary.
No, I don't think so either.
Also, the convict who's in prison who has the good intel, he's in prison, so obviously he's not very good at his job.
There's also that, right?
Let's go with the guy that failed.
He says, "I saved your life" to Ashley, and she goes, "You shouldn't have." And she's gone full psycho mode at this point. And he goes, "Nick really loved you." And she leans in and says, "Who wouldn't?" And I said,
Anyone that doesn't live on
"Touche,
Fast Lake Road.
Charlize Theron." I think that's a fair answer. What, anybody who was what?
I said anybody that doesn't live in Lake County. I'm joking.
I know.
I'm joking.
It's all good. He says, "Maybe you meant for this to end up with some heartbroken loser at the bottom of a ravine, but what you did for Nick, you made him happy, right?" And that, for some reason, gets to her. Because at that point, as he's being dragged towards the car, she goes, "Hold on, don't go getting all noble on me, Nick. Some guy takes a shiv for you and you steal his girlfriend, real noble." And that's the moment where he stops and goes, "What? You said he'd take a shiv. How did you know that? You said he died." I never said how, right?
Yeah, he goes, "I said he died. I never said how."
And even Gabriel's like, "What?"
Gary Sinise has the,
It takes him, because he's a doofus, him saying it 3 times for it to sink in. And then finally he goes, "Ash?" And finally she goes, "Men," and just blows Gary Sinise away. Goes over, shoots him again on the ground, points the gun at Nick, and you hear whistling, here's Silver Bells, who his cellmate had been whistling earlier in the movie.
Damn Silver Bell Whistler.
And here comes Nick walking around the trailer. His cellmate's alive. Where was he? In a tree somewhere? Waiting for all this, just covered in snow?
Waiting at the rendezvous point.
I hope they get here soon.
My jewels got licked by 6 frisky deer.
He's just sitting. He's just been out here in the snow.
No jacket, no hat,
jacket,
no
nothing.
hat,
He's just
no
like,
scarf, no
"Fuck up."
gloves.
Nothing.
Fresh out the gate. Got out this morning, man.
Yeah, man. I'm here. The whole thing. So that's why I mean she's a triple agent. It's actually Millie Bobek, who is the girl Nick got into jail for defending. And while let me try and spell this out because it just defies all
It's just
reason.
like you start talking time travel.
Yeah. So he gets into prison for manslaughter. He tells Millie, who waits on these truckers all the time, to get friendly with them. Right? so that they can write a letter to him to rob this casino that Nick actually wants to rob, knowing that he'll convince his cellmate, who he doesn't know yet at this point, to take his place so that they can do it without him, and then he'll show up at the last minute and take the money.
And swap the body.
And swap the body.
And had the whole thing planned out, not knowing the release date of himself or his cellmate before this happens.
No!
And basically, here's their little ha-ha, this is a funny joke. Do you get it? Nick got Rudy the same way that St. Nicholas got Rudolph to drive his sleigh, or in this case, drive his plan.
My gosh.
Wow.
I didn't even think about that.
That
Dang,
is
dude.
exactly what that was all about, was the fact that Rudy was actually the one driving the sleigh for him. But instead of a sleigh, it's his plan.
It's stupid.
Hence reindeer games.
Everybody got that?
All right, so and I love how even Nick, as they're explaining this to him, is like, "How'd you know I would do it?" Right?
Exactly.
And he goes, "Well, if you hadn't, you just would have had to convince him to do it. You know that they could do it without you." But then even Ashley a minute later goes, "They never would have done it without you, Nick." Right?
And if she could have just convinced him to do it without him, why not just do that? That would have been way less complicated.
Then having this other, because and then it goes, 1,000 things could have gone wrong, right? He goes, "You think I don't know what a long shot is?" Right? If you'd screw this up, she just would have cut bait and run. I'm like, I love how even Nick, a character in the movie, is like, "This plot is the stupidest thing I've ever
That he's supposed to be the mastermind of.
It's like he's like, I just wanted my girl to screw as many people as humanly possible before I got back to her.
Right. It's like, all right, here's the plan. You're going to meet these truckers and you got to screw them.
Gross.
Okay. And then we're going to convince my cellmate. Should I screw him too? Oh yeah, absolutely. Screw him also. And like, this is the plan.
Yeah.
But think about it. How many truckers did she have to bang first before she could figure out who she could trust?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
She's turning into a lot lizard at this point, just hanging out at the Flying J.
Do you guys run guns? Oh, well, get out.
You guys gun runners?
Oh, God.
She's a run gunner. They're gun runners.
Hope she does Kegel exercises.
Man. And
So terrible.
that's so dumb. They've now stuck him in the car. Okay. Rudy is talking about how ridiculous the plot is. They put him in the car. She lights the hood on fire. Right.
Saying, "Right me."
They put it in neutral. She says, "Yeah, right me." He's got his hands bound, but he's got that knife he stole from the truck, so he's cutting
Which
his
he
binding.
slid into his sleeve, being like, just in case.
Right. You never know. Cuts the belts. He is now trying to hotwire the car while Nick is pushing the car towards the ramps that are going to go off the cliff. He's like, "Come on, man. It's like riding a bike." She's in front. He's in back. This is important. He finally is like halfway down the ramp, finally hotwires the car, puts it in reverse. He says, "You made a mistake. Never put a car thief behind the wheel."
Yep. Floors
it right back into the dude.
Lieutenant Danton.
Take out his legs.
Which I
You
thought
ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
it's the perfect way for this guy to die because he had the stupidest plan and the stupidest plot, and then he makes the stupid decision to put a car thief behind the wheel of a car.
Yeah.
A car that works. Like,
car that works.
Take the battery out, do something. So
Something.
it's like there's no possible way that this is. It doesn't need the battery for it.
Nope.
Did this happen before or
Blow
after
up.
her whole speech about there's got to be 5?
No, this is while they're putting him in the car.
Okay, yeah.
Right. 5 Santas walked into that casino, Nick. That's what the witnesses will say.
Yeah.
So the cops need to find 5.
Why'd
Gotta
they
be
leave
5.
witnesses?
Right.
Just
Well,
get rid of the
someone ran
witnesses
out.
then.
Gotta be 5, right? So dumb, dude. So they back in him. He's Lieutenant Dan in the back. She's standing at the end of the ramp like, "Duh."
Oh, this is wonderful.
And now he floors it, runs her over. She's on the burning hood screaming, and he jumps out as he's going down the ramp and flies.
Nothing like sending a bitch off a cliff. Merry Christmas,
I know
you
you
filthy
love-
animal. And a Happy New Year.
I know you love great death scenes, but
Oh, dude, this is awesome.
her flying off a flaming car down a cliff into a massive explosion is
dude.
pretty great.
Dude, there are some evil women out there. So just to see this wonderful individual just get, I mean, this is the way I look at it. You want to
Yeah.
play like a boy, you go down like a boy.
There you go.
Boom.
Bad guy death.
Get hit by a car.
At this point, we are now caught up to present because Rudy is now laying in the snow like we saw him in the Santa montage at the beginning. He gets up. There's 2 giant sacks of money sitting right there. He carries them both. He walks to Sidnaw. I don't know how far Sidnaw is.
Wait a second. There was after that happened, he still had that moment with Nick.
Nick.
Oh, that's right. Nick is bleeding out.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, like it'll just be us. Like,
Yeah.
man, we'll be good.
Forgot about that.
Yes.
Yo, man, you think I was gonna share money with that whore, Millie Bone?
Yeah, right? What are you talking about? This was for us, man.
I was gonna kill her, man.
Yeah.
Right? Me and you, man. You got to believe me. I'm like, you a second ago were pushing a car with him in it off of a cliff.
That's everything. No one's gonna fall for that.
No one.
Oh, okay. Have a good day, man. See you
He's like,
later.
you got to believe me. He goes, believe this. He shuts the trailer, right? Puts it in reverse and sends the whole semi.
So hold on a second. Here's the thing that really started to piss me off in this moment.
Yeah.
There's got to be 5. There's this whole thing. There's got to be 5 Santa Clauses.
Yeah.
You have a human being right there who can't go anywhere.
Right.
Take your damn Santa suit off and put it on him.
I didn't
If there's
think
got to
about
be
that.
5.
Yeah. Or throw it
Yeah.
over, throw it by him.
Or put it over like he changed clothes or something, but
Yeah.
he put it in there with him.
But then you're just going to walk 40 miles in this dirty, bloody Santa suit on the side of the road.
Now I'm the moron. I didn't even think about
There's
that.
5
Yeah.
Santas, and now, hey, who's this guy? Just with a duffel bag of money and shoving bricks inside people's mailboxes.
And everybody's like, how'd I get all this money? Like word wouldn't travel fast and everybody,
And he's
started
still
getting
wearing
money.
it at the family Christmas. They're all, hey, what's going on? You think this isn't making the news in Iron Mountain?
Well, sitting up for all we know could be hours away.
Who knows? But he walked there with 2 satchels of money, and immediately he's putting them. There's like 3 mailboxes in a row. Boink, boink, boink. He's putting them in all of them, and I'm just like, I start to get nervous. Like the people aren't going to get their money. I feel like the first person to go check their mailbox is also going to check the other mailboxes, right?
Yes.
And just take all 3 of them.
We should go check, right?
Right? Hey, if I got this, maybe somebody else did. That's so I start worrying. It's fake. No one's getting any money. It's a movie. But I start to go, oh, that's not a fair way to distribute this money. Because somebody's going to get a lot of it. They're going to start going down the street and grabbing everybody's. Whoever's the early riser in town, figure it out, right?
Oh,
wow. He goes home to Sidnaw. He gets his Thanksgiving or whatever it's Christmas dinner.
It's at least a 15-mile walk because there's that sign that says 15 miles there.
I gotta Google this. If Sin
true.
does exist, I'm gonna Google.
It does exist.
It does exist.
does?
I don't know.
Yeah,
where.
it's an unincorporated township in the UP.
Okay, so is it how far is it actually from Iron Mountain?
That I didn't check.
Yeah, I don't know.
right now.
You can Google Maps that for us. All right. In the meantime, that's the end of Reindeer Games. Whew. We did it, guys. Time to give this movie some awards. And Bob, whenever you're ready with that info, just hit us. But we're going to just move right to the Will Patton Award for Intensity. Let's go.
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night! And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
Yo, that's far. I don't know how many
Oh,
miles
yeah,
that
it's
is.
up in like Houghton County, isn't it? Like
So
it's up in the
Sidna
Keweenaw
is up
Peninsula.
here.
Yeah.
Iron Mountain, Michigan is right down here.
Yep.
Yo,
That's
bro.
at least a 2-hour drive. Drive.
Try.
Hold on, let's see if you can walk there.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's long. All right, guys. So Will Patton Award we give out to whoever gave the most intense performance, as Will Patton always brought intensity, no matter what kind of movie he was in. Ryan, who's your nominee for the Will Patton Award?
I'm gonna go with Gary Sinise and his nasty 90s grunge hair.
Dude,
Watch yourself.
It's weird. The only 2 movies I've seen him with long hair in is Forrest Gump and this. But this was a little more like tailored, whereas that's just like whatever was growing out like crazy in Forrest Gump. It's off-putting. I like him
It
better
is.
with short hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a worthy nomination for sure. Dave Parkinson playing with us all the way from Australia, and Dave also went with Gary Sinise. Said he gave off psychopath vibes, and I think absolutely, dude. I believed every word that came out of that guy's mouth. 100%. Patrick, who's your nomination?
Yeah, it's Gary Sinise.
Gary Sinise.
I mean, he's just... He isn't. When he's intense, he's intense.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's throwing darts into a human being.
Yeah, the darts is what did it for me too.
Okay, I also want Gary Sinise. I'll just say it now. And the fact that like when you can sell a line with so much intensity that you can sell a stupid line like "Don't play no reindeer games with me," and it comes off like it works, it's all because of Gary Sinise. Anybody else, it's like that's going to seem like the stupidest thing anyone's ever said.
I thought they never let Rudolph play the reindeer games.
I
Shouldn't
know.
it have been the whole movie about like Ben Affleck being like, come on, man, I want to help too.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Let me help.
You know, the net wasn't extra about the internet. Where is any damn reindeer games in this movie? Mm-hmm. Don't call it reindeer games.
It's a metaphor.
It's a majestic creature.
They didn't
Doesn't
even play any
deserve
games.
this.
Not one game. Not one game in this movie.
Sometimes I worry about you. I think you got something because you're a little too literal. That's all I'm going to say.
Donnie Miles playing along with us. We love Donnie's over on there on the Discord with us, which if you guys want to join the Discord, you can. It's part of our Patreon, patreon.com/badmoviesrule. And you can also have your awards submitted for these episodes. Donnie Miles went with Gary Sinise, a.k.a. Jacked Jesus.
He was pretty jacked. I was like,
Yeah.
did he go to prison?
On the Monster Express.
He says, honestly, I knew it was going to be him before I even watched the movie. Sinise always has this look like he's going to literally bite someone at any moment. In fact, I go so far as to say he would have been a great choice as the standard bearer for this award, along with Will Patton. Neil McDonough, too. He said any one of those three guys. He's also an awesome dude in real life, and his foundation does a lot of good for veterans. Yes, Donnie, absolutely. Good vote there. And so, Bob, before we go to you, we'll say Charlie Francois is also joining us for awards today. And Charlie went with Dennis Farina. He said his role started out as kind of a bit of a cliche, and his backstory is obscure at best. What happened in Vegas? Who are these other casino owners? But I did not expect him to go full Scarface at the end. Say hello to my little friend. These 5 minutes gets him my vote for sure. So that's 5 votes for Gary Sinise, 1 for Dennis Farina right now, and it goes to you. Who's your nominee for the Will Patton Award?
I would probably say Gary Sinise.
Gary Sinise is going to then win the Will Patton Award for intensity. To the shock of no one. I mean, the dude's awesome. And I like how Donnie said he could have been the award. Yeah, I think the Gary Sinise Intensity Award could have absolutely been a thing. I know he went with Will Patton, but he's that kind of guy for sure. Now it's time to hand out the award that we've named after maybe the greatest actor in the history of cinema, Steven Seagal, the Trash Can Filled with Dirt Award we give out to the worst actor in the movie.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt, yeah.
Love never dies, and neither do they. Love is eternal, and that's a long time.
I've heard this asshole's voice too much the last couple of weeks.
Who had the acting range of a trash can filled with dirt? Madela, who you got?
It was one of the guys that was one of the idiots. I'm trying to figure out which one it was, though.
Do you remember what some of his lines were? I can help you out.
I want to say...
Because there was Pug, there was Donald Logue, the guy that was like, maybe he's not the guy. There was...
I think it was Merlin.
Danny Trejo.
He was the one that was like, what do you say to Santa's dwarves?
You're giving it to Clarence Williams the third?
Yeah.
How dare you, man?
Bro!
Not my...
This guy. The balls on this guy over here.
Well, I would have gave it to the truck for not doing anything.
Well, you can't give it to the truck. But, yeah, Merlin, that dude. You didn't like his acting?
I didn't like it.
All right, that's fair. Dave Parkinson went with Donald Logue. Actually, he said any of the three... Actually,
Yeah, it's a Star Wars thing, ruining stuff again.
Actually, he said any of the three henchmen. So he said Donald, but I guess he agrees with you because he didn't like any of the henchmen there either. So there you go. Dave Parkinson and you on the same page over there.
Dave's a good guy.
Who you got, Patrick? Who was the worst?
This is painful. My name's Patrick Riley, right?
Yeah.
You know, I got this red hair, so...
You beautiful man.
Thank you. I just think... I kind of say Donald Logue, but...
What?
But I just don't think this was written well for him. I don't think he was given enough... I do agree when you talk
like
about
him.
the one scene that he did deliver. And I was even thinking like Danny Trejo was another one. Like I felt the problem with all three of the henchmen though was that they would bring them forward for half a minute, give them something truly memorable, and then fade them back into the background. And I felt like, I guess I think more than anything, it's not so much him. I didn't think the character was well written for him.
All right. Fair enough.
So he did with it what he could.
So that's 2 votes for Donald and 1 for Merlin, right? Clarence Williams.
You suck.
Donnie Miles went with Ashton Kutcher. Not terrible, but he just didn't sell me and was the weakest link. I thought the cast was pretty decent overall. So Ashton catching strays out here from Donnie Miles for his 1 line or 2 lines of dialogue that he had in the movie at the time. The person that I'm going to go with, they have had a long career, lots of great performances, and so this is not a reflection of their career at all. I think they're a terrific terrific performer. But I actually thought that Charlize was terrible in this. I thought she gave an awful performance.
Well, she hated being in this movie.
I know she hated being.
I don't
in the
know
movie.
why.
She's even said it was a bad movie after the fact. She's not happy she was in it. She wanted to work with Frankenheimer, right? But I felt like even in the early scenes where she's trying to be convincing that she's in love with him, I didn't like it. I didn't like her performance in this at all. And she's a great actress. Monster. She won an Oscar and she deserved it. So again, none of these awards are ever for a career. They're for this specific performance, and she didn't do it for me. I thought she was terrible. Charlie Francois went with Tom Heaton as the ugly staffer. This was a hard one. Most performances were mediocre, but none were really deserving of the trash can. Still, the old staffer at the prison cafeteria who collapses in a food fight after taking scrambled eggs to the face can take the award home. He no-selled that bit part in a scene that barely made sense anyway. So again,
that scene was written for Jim Varney, I believe.
taking lunch trays to the face.
Dude,
No, he takes a lunch tray to the face like Jim Varney.
Dude,
If there's monsters in the Jello, there's probably gravel in the scrambled eggs. Though.
True. That's true.
it's true.
Who are you going with, Bob? Who's your trash can?
I can't stand this individual no matter what he's in. I don't know him as a person, but I can't stand him at all. And I still refuse to watch that 70s show because of this piece of shit.
Whoa.
I can't stand Ashton Kutcher. The sight of him makes me want to punch a baby out a window.
Hey, don't do that.
Kutcher.
Don't do that though. You'll wind up at Iron Mountain.
All right. So
No, I wouldn't do that.
Adela,
Just want to make sure.
me and you got to break this tie somehow because there's 2 for Donald Logue and there's 2
Donald
for
Logue.
Ashton Kutcher.
I don't care. I'm not going for Ashton Kutcher.
Why? He's terrible. He sucks
didn't-
at wearing a goatee.
He didn't have a big enough part to be.
He does.
anything
He sucked.
to be a trash can.
He was terrible. The sight of him just
he's
makes
actually
everybody.
a pretty good person in real life.
I don't care what kind of good person he is in real life. I'm sure he's a wonderful person.
Switch.
I'd say Donnie Logue.
Did you switch?
Yeah, I'll switch.
Thank you.
Not to yours.
Clarence Williams.
Clarence Williams still deserves it.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's Clarence Williams.
I mean, I'd already forgotten about Ashton Kutcher, but I already planted my flag, so I'm not going to go back on
No,
it.
don't
No.
go back.
That
to
means
it.
Donald Logue is with much sadness in my heart. He is going
And
to win.
sadness in mine too.
I tried.
Even though I voted,
try.
Yeah.
even though I voted for him, like I said, I love Donald Logue in almost everything he does.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't initially vote for
And
him.
I just felt like they, more than anything, they underutilized him here.
I got you.
He's a good actor.
All right, we're going to move on to our Steve James Unsung Hero Award.
You know, every place you go, there's always someone who thinks he's a badass, right? Then there are those few who are. Are you some kind of a badass karate boy?
Who saves the movie? Who's that person like Steve James in a non-leading role that comes in and gives such a great performance? He's the unsung hero of the movie. Ryan, who is your Steve James Award nominee?
It's got to be Dennis.
Dennis Farina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to be.
Yeah, I went Dennis Farina all day.
Anything I see him in ever is always just, he's so good. Dude. He's just awesome.
Yeah, and even Dennis or even Dave Parkinson went Dennis Farina, said he needed a bigger part. He was awesome in every one of his scenes. And Donnie Miles went Dennis Farina. Loved his snow speech to the casino delegation. And when he breaks out the Uzi and the Cobra from the safe, I went into, now we got us a movie mode. However, I'm genuinely curious as to why it looks like his teeth are falling out at the end.
Yeah,
of the
that was
movie.
weird.
Right? It was a little weird.
Very
But
weird.
That's 4 votes already for Dennis Farina. Who you got, Patrick?
I am just trying to check his name. I think his name is Lonnie Chapman, the old man at the casino
At the
table.
casino
he was
table.
good.
Yeah.
I like that pick. I love that guy. I thought he did a good job too.
Yeah.
Charlie Francois went with Danny Trejo. He goes, I mean, come on, Danny's a national treasure. Whatever role he's in, he rocks it. His face only makes him the most badass of gangsters, and what few lines he had were the best in the script, and he delivered them perfectly. Danny Trejo makes any movie better just by being there. Plus, he's an all-around great guy. Somebody's phone vibrating?
It is. It's my wife calling me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Danny Trejo makes any movie better just by being there. Plus, he's an all-around great guy. All right. Who's your nominee?
I bounce back and forth between Dennis Farina and Isaac Hayes.
Between the two of them?
Yeah, I can't decide.
There's monsters in the gelatin.
I know. I can't decide. So am I allowed to split the trophy?
I mean, Farina's going to win because there's enough votes, so you can give it to either one. It won't really matter. But if you want to split the trophy, you can. If you want to say it's a tie.
I'm going to say it's a tie between those two.
Between those two.
Yeah.
All right. And that's totally fine. Regardless, it looks like Dennis Farina is going to take home the coveted Steve James Award.
But who's going to take home the hot babe and hot rain award?
Yeah, let's talk about that, Bob.
Patrick, who you got
here.
for your hot guy and hot girl award in this movie?
Whenever Bob's on an episode, we give away the hottest guy and hottest girl awards. So,
Man, it's Ben and Charlize.
There you go.
you think so?
Yeah, I think so. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess I would go with that too. I'm not crazy about Ben Affleck as an actor, and it's not that he's not good at acting. It's just
you're just breaking my heart.
it's one of those things that like he's a good actor. I strongly acknowledge that.
Yeah.
It's not my, I don't know. He's not my cup of tea for an actor.
How about you, James?
But he's an attractive enough guy, sure.
Yeah. I think we're going to give
Smash.
Charlize Theron the, why can't I think of the girl's name from The Wraith all of a sudden?
Oh, the Sherilyn Fenn.
Yeah, the
Hot Babe
Sherilyn
Award.
Fenn. I got to give her the Sherilyn Fenn Hot Babe Award. But the Rain Award, I think, has got to go to Clarence Williams III.
Absolutely. That's
Come
what I was
on,
thinking.
man.
Clarence Williams.
Dude.
That's
Dude.
why you're mad?
Yeah, I thought he was.
Because I gave your hottie
Yeah.
the trash can?
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
You can be attractive and get the trash can,
I
bro.
don't think I'm attracted to him. I just think he's a handsome man.
He's a handsome man.
Okay.
For 61 years old,
That's what I'm
geez.
saying.
sure
dude.
about that?
All right, let's give this
Wait,
movie
what are
some
Bob's?
flowers. Here we go. He did.
I did say Clarence Williams.
you said Clarence
And Charlize Theron.
All right.
Yeah. So
There's some very small little roles with other women, but not really throughout this movie anyway.
I was trying to
Not
find
the
other
same
women.
level.
But
for our top 3 favorite things, we got to do some forced positivity here. No matter how you felt about the movie, you got to give me 3 things that you enjoyed. Ryan, you're up first.
I think that the movie's ridiculousness was something I appreciated because we haven't really gotten into good, bad, whatever, but I think it was entertainment for sure. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'd say Dennis Farina
Okay.
I liked him.
Okay.
And then the scene with the Uzis, the powwow safe.
The powwow safe
Yeah,
scene.
I like that scene.
All right, Dave Parkinson said Ben Affleck, number 3, he was great. Number 2, he's had a few decent twists, like Nick being alive, Ashley being Millie, added a layer to the movie. And number 1, the heist scene, in particular, the powwow safe. There you go, 2 people. You and Dave have just been kind of in lockstep here
dude.
today. So
Me and Dave are
there you go.
this.
Patrick, what's your 3 favorite things from the movie?
So I love the UP. It's one of my favorite places. So the idea that the movie is in the UP is just something I really enjoyed.
Love it.
I like Ben Affleck as an actor, and I just think he does his facial expressions and reactions to certain things is just always spot on. Very Ben Affleck or whatever it is, but
especially when the safe was behind the liquor cabinet.
Right, yeah. And the fact that the sex scene was not just what you normally see in Hollywood, that had a moment where they kind of fell off a bed, laughed, and then, kept going. It was like, all right, that's kind of realistic.
All right. Fair enough. We know a little bit more about Patrick.
If you're doing it right, at least. More realistic.
Donnie Miles said, number 1, the prison dudes jumping under the table to hide when the cockroach brawl breaks out, mostly because I can relate. 2, the falling through the ice scene, very believable. And 3, Rudy's line to Ashley, I had better sex in prison, scathing. Harm done. Those are Donnie's top 3. I like that, man. Those are really good. Look, for me, I thought there's some great one-liners. Obviously, the guy that wrote the script, plotting aside, is a guy that's wrote tons of good scripts. And so I thought some of the one-liners are really great, right? Like, thanks for the stamps, Ash. Say it with car keys. The powwow safe stuff.
Powwow, yeah.
Never put a thief behind the wheel of a car, all that stuff. So the one-liners, Gary Sinise is one of my favorite things about this movie. And then just the final shootout, the heist, all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I wish there would have been a little more action in the movie. I know it wasn't technically an action movie, but I appreciated that.
It was like, you look at the poster and like it looks like it would be an action movie, though.
Right.
They really tried to sell it like it was.
Right. It's not, though. It's more of a thriller.
Right.
Charlie Francois said the musical score by Alan Silvestri, and I'm glad he said this because Alan Silvestri is like my second favorite composer after John Williams, and so I love that he brought this up. Great composition, served the camera and the story perfectly, and a lot of scenes that could have been meh became okay, nice just from the music alone. tone. Number 2, he said the cinematography was nice. The picture was crisp, yet had a gritty late 90s touch, a bit of 35 millimeter noise, nice colors and lighting, and a few great camera plays. We all know how bad action scenes can be in these bad movies, and there was none of that mess here, so props to Alan Queso, the DP. Fun fact, Alan also went on to do the first 4 seasons of 6 Feet Under. Man, you probably loved everything that guy just had to say. I know how much you love talking about camera angles.
Yeah, I love how people they like their movies off of damn camera angles.
Because every time Farrell brings that stuff up, you just get angry.
I do. It's because I don't know why I get so angry. It's just because some people just hook. And this is not that's great. That's the reason why he likes it. But it's just I have had some massive discussions over movies. Like if you're hung up on camera angles and editing and music, why a movie sucks. What planet are you from?
I don't know. That's the reason I didn't like the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
I'm like, if for me it's like always been this way. Story, good characters, and a good ending. You can have the greatest movie. I've said this many times before. You can have the greatest, most well-made movie of all time. If your ending is dog water or dog crap, then your movie's a bad movie. It doesn't matter.
I'll never want to watch it again.
Yeah, like Gangs of New York.
Number 1, Charlie gave to Danny Trejo, who we already heard him praise previously during the Unsung Hero Award. So, Bob, it leaves it to you. What are your 3 favorite things in the movie?
Watching an evil woman get drove off a cliff was pretty cool.
Okay.
I'm joking. That was cool to see. The death scenes are very creative.
Yes.
The heist was fun. Dennis Farina. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right. The heist, Dennis Farina.
I'd say the ending. So pretty much the movie was kind of doing a downward spiral for me. It was kind of like back and forth. And then the ending made up for that.
How many times we're going to be like, it's Nick. I'm not Nick. He is Nick.
That was getting annoying.
It's like, all right. Yeah, but once they got the thing going.
Once the heist started to happen, it was a 10 times better movie.
I agree. I think there is another way they could have made the movie better right off the jump, instead of having to go all around. They could have just cast Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie, and then, I mean, we're off to the races. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I mean, where would you stick Arnold in this movie?
I would stick him in Dennis Farina's spot.
Dennis Farina, right?
Wow.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Hey, Santa, welcome to the Tomahawk. Dual wielding machine guns.
Oh, dude, it'd be great.
Come on, man. Would have been the perfect part for him.
Yeah.
That'd be a good role for him.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. I love Dennis
Farina. I'm right on with you. I mean, Dennis,
Yeah, that's what
it's
Dave
not anything
said.
against Dennis Farina. It's just thinking like it would be the best role.
Dave Schwarzenegger's too smart for any of the criminals. Because Schwarzenegger just walked in as one Santa and walk out with everything.
Right.
And probably not have shot anybody. Probably just punched everybody or put him in a sleeper hold.
Yeah. Arnold's just like to the bartender, I can't go back to Vegas.
That's right. I can't do it. I can't go back.
Or Dana Stubberfield's character.
The problem,
that would be the other place.
The problem with him playing Farina is Farina gets roughed up by Gary Sinise when he comes in there. Where when Gary Sinise kicks open the security room door and starts shooting, Arnold would have just grabbed the barrel of the gun and said, "You're on the naughty list." Right?
Not coming in to retrieve a lump of coal.
That's right. Don't play any reindeer games with me. And he rips the gun out of his hand. Right? Would have been awesome.
Wouldn't it have just been great if Schwarzenegger just said yes to everything?
Just said yes to every casting thing.
Every movie.
It would be phenomenal. But even Dave Parker says, yes, come on, Jack Bangs. Dennis Farina was awesome. But Arnie's shooting off machine guns full commando mode? Are you kidding me? It would have been awesome. I do, though, all joking aside, I would never take Gary Sinise. I just want Arnold to do that one line where he goes, I read your letters, convict. Don't play no reindeer games with me. I punch reindeer in the face. Like in Jingle All the Way, that movie. Did you see it?
What animal would he get punched in the face?
In this movie, was there an animal?
They would just, if you had to pick an animal for him to punch.
Well, when they were chasing Ben Affleck through the woods, there would have been like a deer or something that would have came through.
You can't do a deer. You already did a deer.
He did a reindeer.
Yeah.
A wolf.
Yeah.
He punts a wolf.
What about a bear?
He punches a bear in the nuts.
What about a moose?
In the UP.
Yeah, exactly.
Mooses are huge.
I know.
He'd have to wrestle a moose. I don't know if he could just knock one out with a punch. He'd have to wrestle it.
I think Arnold could.
Could wrestle a moose?
I think he can punch it out.
obviously.
Is what I'm
There's some
saying.
moose that are like their heads are the size of this, like the width
Yes.
of this table.
I mean, Alex Karras knocked out a horse in Blazing Saddles, so yeah.
Well, you know what they could. You remember Gina Davis, how she snaps that deer's neck in Long Kiss Goodnight?
Yeah.
We just get Arnold on the moose's back and using his antlers. He's like, say goodnight, moose, and then just snaps the moose's neck.
That's
Or what if he just came riding in on him? As
Hello,
a cop.
I'm
And
here.
he's just got like a thing. He's got a little light on the top of the moose's head, and he runs it. He's
Moose
the cop.
Dude.
Moose cop.
He shows up, Moose Cop, at the end. He's got a cigar. He rides up on the carnage of the semi, and also he's like, hold on a second. There's only 4 Santas.
He's a Canadian.
There's got to be 5.
it's perfect Canadian accent.
Sorry about that.
That's anything he plays, he sounds the same. That was him doing a Canadian.
I already saw the poster right now.
That's right.
Half man, half moose, all cop.
Moose, he's like
He's a centaur
moose.
But he's still got the antlers,
Yes.
too. But the antlers have biceps.
That's right.
As
Dude,
well.
Of course they do.
And the skulls of fallen victims hanging
Yes.
off of them.
Could you imagine?
They
Bro.
screened it to audiences and they're like, it's too brutal.
So what
Gary
would you
Sinise
call it?
would
What
crap
would you
his
call
pants.
So would the sex scenes in that Moose Cop movie be interspecies erotica or bestiality?
Well, no, because Ben Affleck still plays Rudy.
Okay. Oh, we're talking
You know
about
what I'm
reindeer.
saying?
I thought we were talking
Yes.
about Moose Cop.
Moose Cop is in Reindeer Games.
Okay.
That's what we're saying. And then he gets his own spin-off
Yeah.
after this. He rolls up at the end. He's like, oh, there's only 4 Santas. And then he has to investigate. And that's Reindeer Games 2, Moose Cop.
Reindeer Games 2, Breaking Moosaloo.
All right. Donnie says, as the Chow Hall inmate yelling nonsensically about monsters and the gelatin would have been Arnold, I just wanted to see him spew Jello and say, there's monsters in the gelatin. Ah! Come on, that would be good. And then Charlie Francois goes, I think Arnold would make a great Jack Bangs. Again, over the top yelling, I can't go back to Austria, over and over again. Then have him destroy the casino at the end with the M78 from Commando. Hey, Santa Claus, welcome to the Tomahawk. Would be great. Come on. Arnold would have made this movie so much better. But we have to finally decide what this movie is, right? What's our final rating? Is it a good movie, full stop? The audiences were wrong, critics were wrong. Is it a bad movie that rules? Or is it's a straight up bad movie? Ryan, we're going to start with you down on that end.
So this is definitely a bad movie.
Go screw yourself. The Net is a good movie, but Reindeer Games
Are you
is a
gonna let me
bad.
finish?
No, I'm not, because you suck right now. Go ahead, you can finish tomorrow.
How dare
this
you?
is a bad movie, but I will say it rules.
Oh,
Okay, my
Yeah.
apologies.
Go suck a wang. Yeah, no, it's. I can't call it a good movie for sure. I feel like there's something off with it, and I think I told you that before after I first watched it.
yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there's something not quite right with it. But it's fun to watch.
That's
It's
fair.
entertainment.
Dave Parkinson said, overall, I'm teetering between good movie and bad movie that rules. Pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. First watch as well. I'm going to go good movie. I'll watch it again. So that's a good movie vote from Dave Parkinson. Patrick, where are you at on Reindeer Games?
Remember when Dr. Dre released the album The Firm, when he made that super group with like Nas and Foxy Brown and AZ and all that?
Yeah.
Then it flopped
Yeah.
because everyone was like, hey, this should be great. Look at all these great components coming together. This should be killer music.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, all we've always heard about is these abandoned projects that Dr. Dre was supposed to release, right? And then they are permanently shelved. Hollywood needs to take a page out of Dr. Dre's book. This movie sucked. I'm going to call this a bad movie. You got a lot of good parts together to it, but it almost read like somebody did a choose your own adventure book. And then they were like, oh, I was supposed to go to different pages instead of just reading it as one story. And then at the end, trying to tie all the pieces together. It was pointless. It was meandering. It relied too much on so much luck for this to have come together. And the thing is that I had a hard time with the trash can because I felt like it was well acted. There were some good little one-liners, but I would never watch this movie again.
He's from Madison, Wisconsin.
No, I'm not from there. I've moved there.
Oh, that's where you live now.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Donnie Miles said, this is, you got to love a movie that starts with scattered Santa bodies in the snow. Is it a Christmas movie? You betcha, just like Die Hard. I loved the cast, the action, the plot twists, the outcome. I love that Danny Trejo is a secret economist, and I would be on board for that series. I love that Charlize wears ridiculous outfits in the snow. Not complaining, just observing. I love that the gun versus gun standoff trope is used, although I never understand why one party doesn't just pull the trigger, for crying out loud. I love the casino setting, and I've talked myself into liking this. My final rating is good movie, thoroughly entertaining, and an easily rewatchable flick.
Something wrong with our listeners.
So, here's what I'll say. I think I understand everything you said. I understand everything that the critics have said about the plotting and all of that being ridiculous. Even a character in the movie saying this is ridiculous. But you're absolutely wrong.
No, I'm not.
You're 100%
I'm 100% right.
No, this is a good movie.
Why?
It's time that Reindeer Games has its moment in the sun after 23 years of being crapped on.
You're saying objectively.
I'm saying this is a good movie.
You're saying objectively that this is a good movie.
This is an objectively good movie. And I enjoyed it. I think it's well acted. I think it's got an incredible director. Okay, just Hollywood royalty, John Frankenheimer.
He didn't do well in this movie.
It's well directed. It's well written.
Wait,
okay?
How many plot holes did we point out throughout the course of this thing, by the way?
But here's the thing. I think the movie did that on purpose because even the characters... Even the characters...
Way.
Wild Things did that.
Even the characters are calling out how stupid the plot is. Because, as I said before, we're dealing with idiots. It's a movie about idiots. Of course the plan's dumb. Of course it shouldn't have worked. Of course none of this should have worked. And it didn't work. It just has one idiot that's slightly smarter than all the other idiots.
Okay.
So to me, I feel like it's written that way. The guy's pedigree as a screenwriter shows that he's a good writer. And even in this.
But all those movies came after, right?
I'd have to go back and look if they all came after. There was
Scream 3 and Reindeer Games came out at the same time.
Was The Ring in the
2002?
2002, just after this. So yeah, I think the movie is misjudged maybe because of how it was marketed. It's a thriller. It's a caper. It's not a action movie, but you got him in the gun on the cover, right? Reindeer Games.
Big explosion in the background.
Right? But for what it is, I think it's a comedy heist movie, filled with double crosses and all that stuff. But I think it's a good movie. I think people got to take it easy on Reindeer Games. That's my
I
take.
feel like the twist didn't make sense at the end. It felt really forced.
Yeah. No, it did. And I would have given it a much harder time if the characters didn't already call it out. Do you know what I'm saying? In the movie.
That just feels like, why don't we just call this a parody then and get rid of it?
Well, I don't know if it's a parody so much as it is. Like, there are stupid people that exist that do stupid things that even in the midst of doing stupid things, they're going, this is a really stupid idea, right? So why can't we write characters that are like that? And why does everybody have to be smart and do the right thing all the time when tons of stupid people exist and do these kinds of things?
Yeah, I think it's a bad movie.
Fair enough. All right, Charlie Francois. Do you want to have the last word, or I'll go to Charlie first, and then I'll let you have Bob.
Okay.
There's a lot of bad things in this movie. The plot barely holds together. The script is forced. Most actors give a subpar performance, especially given how better all of them can do. Looking at you, Gary Sinise. But there's a lot of nice touches, a couple of funny one-liners, fun cameos, a clean 116 minutes that doesn't stall, and even the bad parts you could call out and laugh at. The gold standard of BMRs. Remember, the gold standard of BMRs reminds me of the movies we watched with my dad on late night cable TV. I used to find him in the living room. What are we watching? I don't know, some flick with the guy from Good Will Hunting. The films were dubbed in French, and we already had missed the first 15 minutes, and we laughed together at the crappiness of it all and went to bed. Fond memories. And the root of my love for bad movies. And this is one of them, and I would watch it again if it was on. And here are the final words from his producer wife. I don't know if you remember, but Charlie's wife is a film producer herself. This is the archetype of a movie written by men, played by men, made for men to watch. There is a single female protagonist, and her only role is to show her breasts and talk about who she screws. I never screw the wrong guy. Charlize, really? They really played this one by the book, and were there even women in the crew? I'll add that she did enjoy the movie, but the criticism is on point. Bob, your thoughts on that?
I just got dumb listening to that. She's a film producer?
Yeah.
Well, she's responsible for the shittiness that's coming out of Hollywood then.
You don't agree with her take?
No. I mean, yeah, it's a movie made for guys, sure. Nah. Okay. Sorry.
All right. How do you feel about Reindeer Games?
Director's cut, good movie. Theatrical cut, bad movie. That rules.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
So I would say this is why you should stop messing with directors' projects. So you know,
let them do the thing.
I don't even really agree with test audiences. I really don't think test audiences work that well.
Well, it's like it all depends on who gets in there, from where are they from, what's their background, all that
right.
stuff.
I mean, I really don't just release it, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I think just reshooting everything to pander doesn't do anything. I just think you get a jumbled up mess. So I think like I said, the theatrical cut is a bad movie that rules, and the director's cut with the added 20 minutes, which flushes out a lot more plot and a lot more depth and everything, is a good movie that rules.
Okay, fair enough. So there it is across the board. We've got some people that said straight up bad movie that rules, and straight up good movie, kind of somewhere in between, depending on the cut we're watching, and same thing with our patrons.
I want to see her make Reindeer Girls. With hold on, what's with Elizabeth Banks, Brie Larson,
Rachel
Ziegler. Yeah, I want to see.
Channing Tatum could be the boyfriend that's just
but he's got to be dumb as hell.
Yeah.
Remember, he can't think for himself. That's how that's how it is, right?
He was only there for sex.
He's only there for he plays Charlize Theron's kid.
That's what I'm saying. He's just there to screw everybody, just like Charlize was in there.
Absolutely. Maybe Ice Cube shows up.
Ice Cube.
I love Ice Cube.
Perfect. I can't wait for Reindeer Girls coming 2025.
Yep.
We'll see how it's going to be. But it's interesting, the fact that audiences, I did think, I'm trying to coalesce all of these thoughts into one takeaway, right? And I think we can at least say this. We're clearly over the 25% mark that the critics and audiences gave it, right? So I think as a group, while we maybe landed all over the place, between the patrons and us, I think it's, at least we can say, far better than its ratings.
No.
Well, I know you wouldn't, as the only straight up bad movie.
I would give it a 7 out of 10.
But I think there's no reason this should be 27% or 25% on
That's
Rotten
low.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's low.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, let's move on from Reindeer Games, and we're going to move on next week into a series that we have talked about the first couple of movies already. In fact, we're moving into a stretch here of 4 straight weeks of sequels to movies we've already covered. And so next week, we're getting things kicked off with Tremors 3, Back to Perfection. We're following Burt Gummer all the way back to his hometown to fight more sandworms. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
I own like the first 5, and that's it.
Okay. I'm excited to watch Tremors 3 and to dive back in. So we're going to have Steph back for that, of course. And then after that, as we go into the month, we're going to be diving back into a couple of other favorites, including a Chuck Norris movie.
Mm-hmm. Delta Force 2.
Delta Force 2. We're going to be talking about Jaws 2.
When you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
That's right. You're excited about Jaws 2, aren't you, buddy?
Bad movie.
Yeah.
And,
hopefully it's better than the first one.
And it's not. Spoilers. And
You didn't like the first one?
It was all right.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
Go Turtle. Go Ninjas.
Yeah.
Was it Turtles
So we're
or
going to have
Ninjas?
Vanilla Ice back in for the first time since we did Cool as Ice way back at the beginning of the podcast.
Wow. Isn't that the return?
That's Secret of the Ooze.
Isn't there a... Kurt's returning on Secret?
Oh, yes. And Kurt Mummer, who you may have noticed hasn't been on for a while, took some time with the family, is going to be back for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. So we're excited to have Kurt back in here as well. In fact, you guys will be teaming up again for Jaws 2. Both Bob and Patrick will be back in for that one. So
Patrick looks like he wants to hit me with the microphone.
No.
it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be fun.
good.
I'm going to have a good time.
In the meantime, thank you guys for listening to us talk about Reindeer Games. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll catch you on the next one. Thank you guys for listening.
Can anyone ask me the question why she wore a mini skirt?
In the snow.
In the snow.
And that's what Donnie said. Donnie Miles brought that up.
Remember that. I'm like, yeah, she was not dressed appropriately.
Yeah, but think about it. There's always that dude that's walking around in like flip-flops and shorts with a parka on still.
It's true.
It's true.
Millie Bobag.
I really want to see Reindeer Girls now.
Well, maybe Charlize will come back for it.
Yeah, she should. She should. Charlize Theron kicks major booty. I love
Dude,
Charlize Theron.
Mad Max Fury Road, she was awesome.
She could be the casino owner.
No, she has to. She survived. She fell before the car rolled out of the way.
And they had to graft moose legs into her.
Oh.
This is how we bring in Moose Cop.